Oh. Did you see Sam Cedar? Wait. No, I haven't seen any of that. Hold on.
Science is political.
Oh boy. Where do we even want to start on this? I didn't see the first time he defended it. Did you even see the original Hasan video that started this drama wave? I saw like the 2-minute clip of it. Is the full thing online or? Okay, I will look for it. My bad. Where are the linkers at? What's the name of the lady? Hasan, Jennifer Welch. Is her show public or was this on a Fear and episode?
I think it's interesting that you thought it.
Okay, it was a Fear and episode. Did you see this?
Did you hear about D's top mod being a pedo? I think his name was Rin Lux or something. I did not know about that. Why would I know that?
Why, as this guy knows every bit of lore about me forever? I don't even know if that was AI or not. That Bondi hearing is one of the most wild things I have seen from a congressional committee hearing. What is the comparable Democrat example of this happening? It happens literally all the time on the Democrat side. Let me point you to a couple of 2-follower Twitter accounts as an example. Because that's what they always point to. Do you see the FAA stance on DEI now? No. Do I want to? What is it? FAA DEI. A new mandatory operation specification requiring all commercial airlines to formally commit to merit-based hiring for pilots. While the FAA has raised performance standards, dismantled DEI offices and contracts, and revised absurd Biden-Buttigieg era directives that wasted time renaming cockpits to flight decks, allegations of airlines hiring based on race and sex remain. Under this new mandate, all U.S. carriers will be required to certify that this practice is terminated. What is the evidence of this? Like, as in, if there's a qualified white male pilot, they don't hire the qualified white male pilot? Why are we doing mandates based on allegations? Allegations. You are the federal government. You have more resources than any other thing in the entire planet. Why not, like, do an investigation? Wouldn't that make, like, so much more sense? No? Okay, it's retarded.
It was okay to comment on a woman's appearance.
Really? Well, I'm
I
Or
loved
it's
it.
interesting that you didn't.
Is this going to be painful?
I think it's interesting that you thought it was okay to comment on a woman's appearance.
Really? Well, I'm
Oh, I
Or
loved
it's
it.
interesting that you didn't think it was okay to comment on mine.
Oh.
He's
Well,
got to avoid the anti-Semitic stuff.
Yeah,
It's difficult
yeah.
to describe me without laughing.
Yeah.
I always comment on a woman's appearance.
Me too, but I don't like it.
Really?
Oh, I love
yeah,
it.
but he's gay.
No, I
I'm
love
gay.
it.
Did you know I was gay?
Could I tell by looking at you?
Yeah.
Yes. But
Really?
yeah. Yeah.
One of the most accomplished political commentators of our generation. She's the host of the I've Had It podcast. She also had a profession way before this. She left all that behind.
I regret ever co-signing this lady's opinions. Fuck me. I shouldn't have hedged. Or I shouldn't have, not hedged, I shouldn't have been so charitable in the past. Because I was like, yeah, some stuff is meh, but, you know, for the most part, she's pretty based. And you know what? Big mistake.
She doesn't even need it anymore. She is now here doing politics. I've had it. She does it all. She's very famous in the gay community. A lot of people know her. Everybody knows she's famous with your mothers, right? Right? She has raised a family.
I have.
You've raised a family, 2 beautiful children.
Thank you.
Beautiful children.
Thank you.
And you've done a hell of a job.
Thank you.
You've
Thank
done
you.
a hell of a job.
I haven't fought ISIS.
No, you haven't done
But
it.
I fought carpal
That's right.
lines.
In the state of Oklahoma. You live in a red state.
Which is kind of like fighting ISIS.
Excuse me. Yeah.
No, it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome to the podcast Jennifer Welch.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
He gave you such a wonderful intro. I had
Thank
to
you.
try
That was
to.
really good.
I think it's interesting that you thought it was okay to comment on a woman's appearance.
Really? Well, I mean,
Oh, I
Or
like
it's
it.
interesting that you didn't think it was okay to comment on mine.
Oh.
Well, how to avoid the anti-Semitic stuff.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
have to describe me without that.
Yeah.
I always comment on a woman's appearance.
Me too. They don't like it.
Really?
Oh, I love
Yeah,
it.
but he's gay.
No, I love
Did
it.
you know I was gay?
Could I tell by looking at you?
Yeah.
Yes. But
Really?
yeah.
Wow, that's new.
Is that wrong?
No.
Did you get a gaydar ping?
No, that's interesting.
It wasn't a ping. It was like.
I don't usually get that.
Yeah,
What,
he doesn't have gay face.
was it maybe the outfit that I was wearing?
Yes, but that's also like.
It's the jacket.
But like he would shut that motherfucker off most of the time. Although
You
right
really
now,
think so?
yeah. Well, right now he's kind of dressed like Latino, but it's
Yeah.
it's
It's his Bad Bunny look.
yeah exactly.
You're
I
giving Bad Bunny today.
Thank you very much for saying that. But I was looking at old Bad Bunny photos actually. We were on the way over here. I don't know why, but
kinda gay.
No,
Yeah, that's actually- that's crazy.
he started looking like me. Okay, I know that that's a ridiculous thing to say because he's an infinitely more successful and way cooler person. But I've had this look for many years at this point. Bad Bunny's old look was disastrous, and then he grew his hair out. And then he started, people started saying, "Oh, you kind of look like Bad Bunny." I was like, "Oh, great." But I was
Let me
there
ask you
before.
this. Do you
Hey,
have
what? I feel like Hasan changes his look like every month. He has like a new haircut, new facial hair, new glasses, and his clothing changes every day.
any evidence at all that Bad Bunny knows who you are?
No, I'm saying it's totally random that he like went in that direction. I wasn't saying I influenced him or anything. I'm just saying he has no idea who I am. No, of course not.
He knows.
Are you going to watch the Bad Bunny or the Kid Rock Super Bowl?
Kid Rock.
I'll be honest. I am going to watch the Kid Rock.
Wait, Kid Rock's doing his own Super Bowl?
Oh, Turning Point is having their own Super Bowl.
Oh my God.
Another-
Erica Kirk got another babysitter for it.
I cannot
The
wait.
morning continues. My God.
The lineup is incredible.
So Hasan, they really want him to be homosexual. Like people are desperately.
The gays want him?
They want him to be gay, but he couldn't be farther from gay than.
Why do you
ever
say
been.
that?
I think
every
it could be
time?
farther.
No, he's very, very, very straight.
He just says that because he's worried that like if
your
I
lane.
encroach in his territory, he would not have a single twink look at him ever again.
It's not true. It's not true. I'm very confident in myself. And this man, not everybody likes. Not every gay man likes a man who's 6'4" with big muscles and beautiful facial structure.
Really?
Not many. Not
I
everybody
haven't
likes
met
it.
any that don't like that.
Well, you know what? They're out there.
No, so I'll
They're
say
out
this. Some of them also are willing to accept other things. Right wing. Famously, a lot of guys in the administration are gay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes I feel like.
These are the demon
Oh,
queens.
these-
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, interesting.
These are the
That's it.
demon queens. Like, I think you have like the gays
Yeah.
who do what they need to do, and then you have the demon queens, like that old queen that runs the Kennedy Center and drove it into the ground.
Yeah.
And then you have the DL demon queens. That's the Lindsey
Lindsey Graham,
Graham, Marco
Lindsey
Rubio.
Yeah.
I
Fun party.
believe JD Vance. He thinks JD Vance is a prostitute, which I have to concede he totally is. But there's a DL demon queen, Josh Hawley.
Oh,
yeah.
he told that guy has gay face.
Yeah, yeah,
He
yeah.
has gay face.
And he has gay pecs.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a little outside my general.
Josh Hawley has gay body.
Have you seen?
Can you get me who this woman is? I was under the impression she's a dog expert or something. So she is a podcaster. We've seen some of her takes. She seemed kind of strongly liberal with like some kind of more out there progressive takes, but like for the most part kind of based. But now there's been a whole drama that came up over the past week that's developed as a result of this podcast episode. I don't know if we'll watch the whole thing or we'll probably get to the part of it. I'm probably going to skip some of this because a lot of this is meant, but
Have you seen the image of him trying to kiss his wife?
Yes, like a K drama.
Yeah.
And then have you further seen the engagement photo announcement of him standing in the end zone with Harrison Butker, the
Yes.
kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs, the guy that's
I got to interview Paris Hilton and
I feel like he's done a lot.
like.
okay. Is it true, Hasan, that you big time Don Lemon, like he called you to have you on, and then you kind of big time ignored his call / text? Yes or no?
Where's this coming from? How do you know this?
Huh? I just heard about it.
That's crazy.
Did he collect call you from jail?
Listen, I am very
told me
good
this all.
friends
I'm
with Don
finding
Lemon.
out- I'm finding
Don
out
Lemon's
for the
husband
first
is my realtor in New York.
wait, wrong one. It's this one.
Does it?
Already was.
Well, who the fuck linked this
Dork.
one?
I know.
Or did I click this one? This was 6 days ago. The one you just linked me was 5 days ago. Did I just suffer through this for 5 minutes for no fucking reason?
Supposed to start the podcast.
Patriots, gay triots, they triots, black triots, brown triots, and all of the fascists can do what?
Is that
Is that?
what
That
we're
was
supposed-
terrible.
Oh my God.
It was terrible.
I
Listen,
did exactly
you
what you
have to
told me to do,
go,
Jen.
"Fuck
Oh, fuck off!
Hasan.
Fuck off!
I said caca.
Yeah, this dumbass. I couldn't.
You didn't say anything.
Well,
You
I
were
was
worse than me.
No, I got thrown off.
You
know
were
what I
worse than
mean?
me. Why do you
Yeah.
always? You want to impress her so much?
I've
He
already.
does.
Oh,
Also, not as much.
And now Princess Diana, the people's princess, dead.
she's no longer with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
I thought that was an assassination.
Of course you did.
Yeah. I still think it's an assassination.
You do.
But he also
Did-
thinks Bush did 9/11.
Oh, really?
I mean, I think that the American intelligence community had a lot more
He
information.
thinks we deserved it, which I think is disgusting.
Brave take number 2. No, I think that the American intelligence, I think the international intelligence community had a lot more
Right.
pre-warning about
we go.
what potentially could have happened. And I mean, this stuff is not even in the realm of conspiracy at that point.
Right,
It's just like they just kind of didn't take the necessary precautions.
Well, there was a memo, I believe it was Condoleezza Rice that read it, that said Bin Laden determined to attack
Yeah.
inside the United States,
Yeah.
that there was a complete, security collapse on that. I believe that that's been corroborated.
Yeah.
I don't know how you read
What do
that.
you think about that one building? Like there were
Oh,
two.
7.
Yes.
Tower 7. I still
Fishy
to
as
this day-
hell.
I still
Wasn't
to
that the
this
Marriott
day-
Hotel?
No, it was some other building that
No,
like
World Trade Tower
who was
7.
officed in there?
I think it's like some documents were in there is what.
Why can't people take like 2 I don't why. Why am I asking? Oh shit! I just treated this seriously. Whoops. Like it would only take you 2 seconds to Google any information about Building 7 whatsoever to figure out like how bullshit literally all of these talking points are. It would take you 2 seconds to Google everything. I don't know why anybody takes these people seriously. Like they clearly don't care. It's just conspiracy baiting. Like if you really cared, if you really wanted to look it up, like you could look it up. Like it's so quick and so easy to find this out.
Theory say, but like I think that tower's falling has never had like a good answer.
I agree.
There's just and it's just something that we just kind of gave up on.
Completely. It's so weird because you've watched the video and it completely pancakes like a,
like a controlled demolition.
Yeah, of like a Las Vegas hotel.
Now we're
that is
talking.
weird as shit.
Speaking of Las Vegas hotel,
really
Stephen Paddock, another conspiracy that the government just kind of gave up on addressing it at all. Stephen Paddock, the shooter in the Country Club Festival from Mandalay Bay, the Mandalay Bay shooter.
Right.
Yeah, that was also a very suspicious act of ultra violence. There's a lot of unanswered questions there as well, and we just kind of moved on. A lot of this stuff happens all the time, and we just kind of move on.
Yeah, I think that in that argument, I think where we are right now is incubating.
Like when you say move on, I agree it's not satisfactory, but also like there are times when real life just kind of sucks, you know? There's not necessarily a bigger answer. Not everything has a reason. Not everything is a conspiracy. Like sometimes shitty things happen. Like they do happen. I know it's hard to believe, but
by moving on. Obama didn't charge the black sites and Abu Ghraib. He didn't hold the George W. Bush administration accountable. And all of this stuff gets incubated, anti-black police, over-policing. And now all the white people are like, oh my God, a person got shot in the streets. And all the black Americans are like, this has been our experience the whole time.
Yeah.
And so I think...
like, hello, we had the George Floyd riots. We did riot over this, right? White people included. I don't know if these guys all forgot about that. You guys remember that, right? The George Floyd riots. Do you remember that? The George Floyd riots? Hello? Like...
us moving on is incubated where we are now.
Yeah, I mean, Rahm Emanuel, I feel like, has he been on the show?
Yeah, I got to fight with him.
Yeah, of course. That's unsurprising. But Rahm Emanuel had to resign in disgrace because of the torture of Laquan McDonald in Chicago.
This is so fucking stupid. This happened to me. One of my friends was convinced that Building 7 was a smoking gun, that it was all a government conspiracy. I Googled for 5 minutes and got the answer as to what... Yeah, people... I remember listening to Jank say, like, how did Building 7 come down? It was nowhere near... It was nowhere near the World Trade Center. It's like, bro, a huge chunk of one of the buildings literally fell onto Building 7. What do you mean nowhere near? You're crazy.
One of these black sites that the Chicago Police Department was operating. Like they took the CIA's methods of having like torture black site facilities where they could like disappear people and started using it at the domestic level.
Oh my God,
and
please bring up Israel
we've just, I
somehow.
guess, forgotten about it because now he has ambitions for higher office. And it's like, Rahm, there's a reason why you were the Japanese ambassador. Like they sent you on that cushy gig far away from America because you had fucked up. And this is before we even talk about that was his fuck ups as the mayor of Chicago. Before that, his fuck ups in the Obama administration led to a massive, a sea of red wave picks that came under the Obama administration when Obama came in with the blue supermajority, like the actual supermajority, which we probably will never see that ever again. So, how are we forgetting about this?
We do. That's what we do as a nation.
We
It's
just forgive
collective
and we
amnesia.
forget.
You know what I've had it with? Tardiness.
Uh-oh.
So, listener, we were supposed to start the podcast promptly.
I'm
at
so
10.
sorry.
And then and their producer March, who I believe is innocent, March is.
He's never innocent.
I believe March is innocent. I believe he is. They start messaging that they're late.
I messaged. They would have never said a word. He would have never said a word.
That's true.
He would have just showed up and been like, "This is the time now."
Let me
It's
ask you
all
this:
about him.
does it cause you anxiety when you're late?
Well, when you texted me, selfish.
It was a good takedown.
It was
Let
a
me
good
see exactly
takedown.
what that
You
was.
said selfish, self-indulging millennials.
Incompetent, self-indulged millennials
Yes,
is what I referred to.
incompetent, self-indulged millennials. I actually physically started sweating. I was in the back of my Uber and I was like, "Sir, could you please drive faster?"
Mother's
Please,
angry.
mother's very angry. And then I was like, I couldn't tell. I was like, oh, maybe she's joking, but I was like, it felt a little serious. I was like, I need to maybe ask her if she wants a coffee or something.
You did.
I did, and I was like trying to ask the time and maybe not have you look at the clock. And I don't know. I was sweating. He didn't give a shit. I know he didn't give a shit.
We were locked in on the car. We were supposed to be here at 10:03. So it was going to be 3 minutes,
pretty close.
which is like fairly. I mean, it's fine.
My helicopter didn't show up.
But unfortunately, New York time, like New York traffic, doesn't operate that way.
It's just a little bit more congested than usual.
It is.
why I was
It's the
late.
snow.
Have you noticed that too?
Well, I know it's the snow on the side of the road.
Yeah.
It kind of makes the roads a little smaller.
Yeah, what's going on with that, Zoran?
Did you see where Bill Ackman is blaming Zoran for the weather?
Yeah, that's not surprising actually, because that's when he unveiled.
Since from our homes, starting with the products we.
Oh,
You think it's fake?
so
Really?
fake.
Okay.
I didn't used to, but now I do. I'm fully invested.
I did initially. I thought it was fake. I was in Italy when it happened.
So sorry.
And then they were like, "Oh my God, here's the shooter. We thankfully shot him." And it's like, no, there's 0% chance that shooter pulled off.
How did they get him to agree to it? Do you think? Like
They didn't. They just he's a loser. He was a total forgotten soul. And there are millions of them. And I think the CIA or the FBI was like, all right, yeah, this one.
But if it's the CIA or the FBI, that would have been under Biden's authority.
Yeah.
So
I think it was well, there's still different ideological components within the CIA and the FBI as well. I mean, they're not all woke under the Biden
the
administration
deep
and then
state.
magically turn into anti-woke under the Trump administration. Or they could have hired paramilitaries. Could have been Israel. That's another, foreign intervention. It's not a secret that Benjamin Netanyahu really wanted Trump to become president.
Yeah.
Even though Biden was eating his ass every day.
Oh my God, he totally
It
was.
wasn't enough for him. So I don't know. Could be. I like that. We should float that to Candace Owens, make that a real thing.
Yeah.
Israel actually did the fake Trump assassination. Yeah.
Okay, do you guys want to listen to voice memos
Love
from
to.
our listeners
Would
about
love
their
to.
grievances?
I love your listeners. You guys are very popular. I mean, you should
cool.
know this. You're
There's no
very
question
cool.
about it.
Every time I tell a gay man about that I'm going to see Jen and beyond, I've had it. There's an audible.
For gay men exclusively because they're more liberated, they give a fuck meter's broken, it's just more fun, the
Yeah,
energy's better.
everybody's just like free. Like I think like straight men are always put.
Have you ever considered sharing or publishing your epistemic framework for evaluating how true a conspiracy theory is likely to be? I think that would be interesting. I feel like other people have done stuff like that so much better than me. Why don't come to me for that, okay? Listen, there are resources.
Putting up a facade and trying to be people that
Maybe
they're not.
someday.
It's
There you
true
go.
though.
Present
Never mind.
company included
I'll
or
publish it with a
excluded?
J6
Wait, say
video.
what?
Present company included or excluded?
Are you ripping on me?
Oh,
Am I putting up a facade?
No, he doesn't give it. He just doesn't have fun in any environment.
That's true.
So, like, he's
Fun hater.
not at gay bars or straight bars.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that's why I'm objective in my interpretation, and I read you to filth last time we tried to talk about
Yeah,
this.
I did.
He wants.
Wait, anybody read this? I feel like I'm getting blackpilled on all these orgs being pro-Pally based on the bullshit I'm reading. Wait, did you link the Doctors Without Borders thing? Apparently, Doctors Without Borders just recently put out a statement saying, I don't want to misquote it and play into the bullshit, but apparently they were like, yeah, so we did move a lot of our hospital personnel out of the Al-Ali hospital or whatever because there were like kind of weirdo masked men running in and out with guns, and they were probably Hamas, and we didn't really feel safe there.
That's what it is. And when he goes to like a straight environment, he goes out.
Jennifer knows this.
Yeah, he goes out.
Shrinkage.
Yeah.
Shrinkage.
He goes out, straight environment, not enough twinks, not enough fresh hot twinks for him. So he just gets upset. He's like, man, I don't like this.
I do. I like to go out and see attractive people. It's fun.
Yeah. I will say, I've seen some footage of you at protests lately,
Oh.
and you seem very alive and like you're having
it's
a
my
good
favorite
time
thing.
because you are fighting for something with total conviction. Man on the street, I'm here for it.
Yeah, no, that's what I like to do.
Yeah, I've been seeing
He's a
some
fascist
edits.
fighter.
He is a fascist fighter. I've seen some edits of him, thirst traps and whatever, and he keeps reposting them, and they keep coming up on my fucking feed, and I'm like on an airplane, and it's just like this boom, 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 and I'm like,
Here's the
can
thing.
you please stop reposting your own fucking thirst traps for a
Here's the
second?
thing. Okay. They can come after me for a million different reasons. They can call me, anti-Semite, terrorist, all this stuff, radical, communist. He wants to, kill landlords, whatever. Right? They can lie about all this stuff, but they can't say I'm ugly. It's
true.
So I have to use whatever advantage I can
That's
get.
true.
That's why, like, when people are like, Hasan, don't you get annoyed that like the New York Times or all these other like major newspapers, like when they talk about you, they kind of talk about you like a bimbo. They're like, oh, he's so hot over and over again. They don't talk about your ideas, and I'm like, listen. That's terrorism insurance. Okay, I will if they're gonna write
insurance?
Yeah, that's what I call it. I do all these media hits not because like I want to I'm really excited to go to the some Times event, right? I do it because I know for a fact that the next week Jewish Insider, New York Post, Fox News, and all these other like right wing
Which one of these is not like the other one? New York Times, Washington Post, Jewish Insider. How big of a publication is this in the United States? Excuse me? Is this a publication that I'm supposed to be checking in on normally? When I think of like kind of not as popular publications I should be checking in on, I think of like, like Financial Times. I didn't know Jewish Insider was one I was supposed to be keeping up on. Jesus.
Israel outlets are going to be calling me a terrorist, so it softens that blow. It's
Right.
the anti-Semitic terrorism insurance.
I like it. As my mother always told me, darling, if you got it, flaunt it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's true.
Kylie, who's our first caller?
Good morning, girls.
morning.
I listen to your podcast religiously every day. I get full body chills and I start screaming in my car when you guys get worked up. And yeah, keep fighting the good fight. Anyway, I wanted to tell you this information, though I have a feeling you've probably heard whisperings, and I was just listening to one of your more recent, I don't know if it was iHip or I've had it, but you were talking about Lindsey Graham and wanted to be called a Lady Graham.
Yeah.
And Lindsey Graham actually has a nickname in the sex worker community. His name's Ladybug.
Yeah.
And that's because he hires professional dominatrixes, pro-doms, to be
Come on, Lindsay, come suck it. You're
Brother,
a big
if you've not
importer.
been looking at the Epstein file releases, they are horn dogs, all of them. They're creepy, horny
I know,
monsters.
but like, do these people?
at institutional papers that Jeffrey Epstein is selling to Mongolia.
That's the thing is like there were no perpetrators that were
Yeah,
trans.
and when she came
Huh.
out, and like actually talked about Jeffrey Epstein, they bullied her. They were like he, she, like they made jokes.
That's fine.
Yeah, and they ritualistically humiliated her for like trying to out this scheme at the time.
I've got a question for you guys. What do you make of the Clintons willing to just testify in public?
I think it's mutually assured pedophilia destruction.
So you think that they're just going to admit to everything?
No, I think that it'll be a controlled setting, and they will not reveal.
Oh, do you think that they're corroborating to do this publicly?
I think that Donald Trump came out yesterday and said,
I love Bill.
Yeah, I love Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
I love Bill Clinton. He's
Whenever,
not
and you
Very
notice
same.
he provides cover for that, like Elon Musk. I wish him well after they had their big breakup.
Yeah.
Elon outed him on Twitter. He also said about Ghislaine Maxwell, I wish her well.
Yeah.
He just recently said the Clintons, I like them. I wish them well. So that's
Yeah.
always a tell whenever you hear Donald Trump, the most petty, vindictive old queen on the planet.
Yes, yes.
I mean, total queen. And then he does not have resentment towards them. It's always a tell when he's offering these nefarious people cover.
he has more resentment for like the average female reporter in the press pool than he does for like these supposed enemies that he's had.
Or
like
the shooter
Clintons. Yeah.
of the, this is the guy
Fake
who
shooter.
Yeah, the fake shooter.
I know this is way old, but do you think he sucked off Bill Clinton?
I'll tell you what. That to me, this shows you how
Melania was introduced to Donald Trump through Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh my God.
This was a suspicion that we all had already.
So it was confirmed in the file.
It's confirmed in the file. It's there. It's crazy.
Good God.
How are the Democrats not using this? Well, I know how. Because they also are part of the Epstein stuff. And I think for a lot of Democrats, their job is to be controlled opposition. Because right now, we're talking about special elections taking place all around the country. Yesterday, in the 11th district in New Jersey, there was massively consequential congressional race that took place in the Democratic Party primary. And the Bernie AOC candidate actually pulled off a tremendous upset. The Essex County Democrats had a different pick. The establishment Democrats had a different pick. And AIPAC had a different pick. And all of these different forces coalesced. And through the ashes of that, a real fighter came out and took on an upset victory. I don't want to mess up the name here, but I'm gonna pull it real quick.
That.
Yeah, this just happened. This happened last night. Now I think they're still counting the votes. This is a super close race from what I understand. I don't know if it's been finalized yet, but New Jersey 11. Steve Kornacki, everyone's favorite khaki wearing Steve Kornacki, writes, "What's happening in New Jersey 11 tonight feels momentous. The state has long been dominated by a throwback political culture, particularly on the Democratic side. But there's been an upheaval in the last few years as the party's increasingly activist / professional class base has been in revolt. In Essex County, the biggest part of the district having the support of party leaders was for generations practically tantamount to victory in a primary. But tonight, the Essex organization-backed candidate is running third in the county, far behind the AOC Sanders-backed progressive insurgent Ana Lilia Mejia, who is currently leading the district-wide and has no support from any of its county organizations. And not only that, but also AIPAC was taking out."
This is for a federal seat, right? This isn't like a state. Not that there's anything bad or wrong with state. I'm just making sure, right, for the relevance.
The main make it or break it former congressperson, who again, former congressperson in a state like New Jersey, establishment Democrats are supposed to win in Essex County, and Mejia is doing tremendous. Is like most likely going to win. And it was such a close race that the decision desk actually projected the wrong winner initially. So why am I saying all this? Because there's obviously a lot of appetite for fighters, appetite for Bernie-style politics in the Democratic Party's base of support, and yet the establishment Democrats are pushing that aside every step of the way. Yes, this, along with Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries' capitulations to the Trump administration, when they have tremendous momentum behind them, leads me to believe that the establishment Democrats are more predisposed and more focused on maintaining business as usual politics and trying to stop the left flank from seizing control of the Democratic Party, even though the wishes of the base.
What are you going to seize control of? Because you win a couple elections in really, really deep blue areas? Is that... Like, this is why nobody likes you guys and nobody takes you seriously. Like, you're trying to hijack the entire party apparatus because of potentially successes, maybe, or a success, I guess, in a deep blue area with absolutely... And then the rhetoric that you want to hijack would take us further away from any kind of electoral consensus in the House and the Senate. Like, what... Like, if you're only winning in plus 40 areas, then why do you think that your message would resonate in purple or red areas?
This is clearly with the left flank.
Completely agree. In the Venn diagram of corporate Dems and MAGA, they have a lot more in common than the people that you're talking about.
It's taken me a few election cycles to figure this out. But
we like to live out together.
We
were at the
do.
DNC
We do.
together.
No,
your radicalization was much faster than his.
Yeah,
Yeah,
have a quick study.
Yes, for him, I've been telling this to him for years, and he's like, no.
But it started to click with me because I'm like, okay.
Why do you think Trump endorsed Mamdani before Schumer, though, during their meeting? I don't know if I don't know how common it is for people like Schumer or Jeffries to, like, I don't know how common it is for people in Congress to endorse a candidate for mayor. I don't know if that's like a thing that ever even happens. I know they eventually came around to it or said good things. I think even my position initially was, I feel like they should say something, but then I think I got an email or two where one, apparently Mamdani didn't endorse Kamala during her election, but also two, these are just like totally different levels of races. You just wouldn't expect to see like somebody on the federal level endorse somebody on the mayoral level. It's just not a thing that, it just doesn't need to happen yet. But obviously everybody takes it personally across the country because Mamdani is like the only success that they can point to at all for their kind of like weirdo socialist agenda.
Over and over again, we lose to a fucking idiot. And I'm like, well, why can't they do this? Why can't they do this? These policies are so popular. And then it occurred to me, well, they have the same corporate masters and donors that the Republican Party does. And you know what irritates me? And one of the messages that I wish the Democratic Party would say, because the Republicans are like, government's bad, government's bad. And I wish the Democratic Party could say, government's good. No, government is good. Yeah. The reason when government fails you, it's because the corporate private interests get involved and corrupt it. Yep. That's when government fails you. But the Democratic Party cannot say that because they are corrupted by the same donors and same private interests. Government is great. Government's amazing.
See, like the issue with this mentality is that there's no way out. Right? And you saw that Flacco guy. You saw that there's some guy on Twitter called Hasan Flacco or something. But his perspective was basically that there's no way that progressives can win because it's actually the CIA/deep state, or he might have just said CIA training to propagandize Americans against communism over the past 50 years, and they still infiltrate and destroy communist movements or whatever. But like, these people always present these ideas, one, with no proof, and then two, they're like these grand conspiratorial ideas that make it so that there's basically no way you can ever engage with the subject matter in any kind of like meaningful way. Like, okay, you want progressives to win. Listen, I just want Democrats to win. If progressives could actually win and were competitive and the ideas were good for the general American population, then fuck it. Then we move in that direction. I have no problem with that. But there's no evidence for that. Progressives refuse to make that argument. And instead they just sit back and they fold their arms. They're like, well, you need to pick a candidate that appeals to us. And it's like, why, motherfucker? You're not even the broad electorate. Why the fuck would we be trying to pick candidates that you guys like more than anything else? Like, I feel like we should be trying to appeal to the majority of Democrats first.
So proud of you.
Yes, government's amazing. Thank you.
This is
Thank you. This is a big moment. I'm so proud.
Really
It's been one of my talking points.
You don't understand
recently.
Like when you met him, he was already like halfway there. When I met him, he was all over the place.
And I relapse sometimes. Like when somebody's really hot and they're charismatic, I start to be like,
but you haven't bid on the Gavin Newsom bait.
I have not. In fact, I did originally, and then I realized. Then I saw multiple collaborations with
the Ben
Shapiro.
Shapiro thing. To me,
It
it's
sent
just
me over there.
political suicide.
Yeah, suicide.
Charlie
Like,
Kirk,
what the fuck are you doing?
Telling Charlie Kirk that you're so
Like, this is such an old and tired talking point, and I know none of them believe it, and that's why this is why politics is so fucking boring right now. It's because none of these guys, or at least Hasan, might be smart enough to know. I don't know about the lady; she might be an idiot, and then Austin's just a clout shark, so he'll go along with whatever Hasan says. But why not have some actual criticisms? Well, I don't know. Maybe they'll give some. This whole you can't collaborate with people that I don't like. You can't collaborate with the enemy. That's not fair. You can't collaborate with this. Like, come on, really? Is that where we're at? These are 2016 talking points. Like, how can you criticize Charlie Kirk, or how can you criticize Newsom for having Charlie Kirk on when you were literally so excited to debate him? Right after he just happened to get blasted before you could. Like, what's the?
Is a major Charlie Kirk fan, dog, you are admitting that you have failed as a parent at that point.
He also won't sit down with you, and it pisses me off. It pisses me off because I'm like, you will sit down with Ben fucking Shapiro, and you won't even sit down with the far left part of
Here's
your
the
party.
thing that drives me crazy about corporate Democrats. They want to learn how to talk to Republicans. That's so wrong. You need to learn how to beat them.
Yes.
That's the difference. Republicans focus on how do we beat the fucking libs. We hate them. We hate their pronouns. We hate that they don't have shame when they have
They make
sex.
stuff
We
up.
hate their drag queens. We fucking hate them. And if the Democrats' ethos and warrior ideology would be, we want to know how to beat you. We don't want to know how to talk to you.
Yeah.
The 1 in 10 people that went from the triple Trump that went from Adani, what they're looking for is authenticity.
Yeah.
And not pick me politicians that that wade out into the water and well, I don't want to piss off the left and I want to appear more centrist.
It pisses me off because inherently, because the right has gone so far to the right, and the middle is now shifted to the right.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So inherently, when you are, if you're sitting here being like, oh, we need to be more moderate or move towards the middle. No, you're not moving towards the middle. You're moving to the right is what you're doing because the new middle is over here. You know what I mean? It pisses me off when I hear these motherfuckers saying, well, the average American wants some.
Oh God, it's so gross. Hasan has his hand so far up fucking Austin's ass. He's controlling his brain. Look, he's laughing. He's giggling. He's like, oh, he's learned all my talking points.
Because the right has gone so far to the right, and the middle is now shifted to the right.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So inherently, when you are, if you're sitting here being like, oh, we need to be more moderate or move towards the middle. No, you're not moving towards the middle. You're moving to the right is what you're doing because the new middle is over here. You know what I mean? It pisses me off when I hear these motherfuckers saying, well, the average American wants something more moderate. And I am so incensed by watching.
Yeah, the average American is always worried about United Healthcare profits. That's why they're like, I can't have free healthcare. Sorry, I really want to make sure United Healthcare is turning profit this year.
Right. I want to make sure Palantir is funded.
Yeah.
I want to make sure AI comes to take our jobs, but we blame Democrats.
And also, our electricity cost is skyrocketed because we're subsidizing the data center.
Let's take another caller.
Oh, yes,
Hang on.
yeah.
All right.
Okay, well, first of all, I had with y'all because it took me 20 fucking minutes to figure out where to leave you a voicemail. And quite honestly, I don't even know if this is the right place. It might not be, but I'm going with it because it's the only place I got. So there you go. What I've had it with is assholes. And specifically, all of the assholes in the world that make it so we have to have passwords and third-party verification and text messages for the passwords to verify the password and different passwords. And I got to change my fucking password. The hours of my life that I will never get back because of passwords are fucking stupid. It's just stupid. I can't just enter a password. You got to text my phone to use the password. Or you can email me that, but it's the wrong email that I don't even have anymore because you know why? Somebody fucked it up. The assholes. So I had to get a new email. So that email doesn't even work. So yeah, that's what I've had. I've had it with passwords and verifying passwords. And more than anything, I've just had it with assholes in general.
Have you had it with assholes?
Everybody's spamming question marks, but actually true, okay? If people would just stop hacking accounts, we wouldn't have to worry about passwords at all. You shouldn't need a password at all. You should be able to just type your name in and go in, and nobody should go into an account that's not theirs. That's actually true, okay?
Well, I have to say, I think that in a data breach, this caller's the first to go. She's unfortunately
she's got.
That is a gang man.
And
normalizing that it's completely okay to co/had it to get started on Roe. Go to roe.co/safety for box warning and full safety information about GLP-1 medications based on study in non-diabetics with obesity or overweight plus a weight-related condition with diet and exercise. This episode of I've Had It is brought to you by Wild Grain. Wild Grain is the first gluten-free box.
Man, talk about corporate America. How many sponsors do you have?
That we make it through midterms. Or you can use the promo code HAD IT at checkout.
Remember, guys, okay? Remember the rules. Podcasters are the only people who are allowed to have unlimited sponsors and to sell it as hard as possible. Nobody else in the entire economy besides podcasters and streamers, people like me, are allowed to make money, okay? Remember that.
Okay, let me ask you this. Let's say that Gavin Newsom becomes the nominee, that we make it through midterms.
devastating.
Do you vote for him over JD Vance?
I don't know.
God damn it, I'd probably be the fucking DNC. I know.
Oh, 100% I would be too.
Yeah.
But
I would.
This is what I hope. I hope if for some reason, but I actually
Like, that's such an easy call. If that pick isn't easy as fuck for you, then you're just not on the... I don't even want to say on the same team. I don't even know where you are. You're in another world. You're playing a whole different game. That's like the easiest fucking thing in the world to answer. That's such an easy question. This is the clip that started off all the drama, though.
I think he's really shot himself in the foot recently. What I hope, if Gavin Newsom were to ever become some sort of nominee, which I'm not rooting for. By the way.
Also, wait, hold on. I'm sorry, because I'm missing this, because I don't live in like the online lefty politics space. He's really shot himself in the foot recently. Doing what? What happened? Or what do these guys think happened with Newsom that he's fucked himself so hard? What are they even talking about? Just because all the other lefties are hating on him, or?
Even though he's eating
talked
an
to
eyeball.
Ben
He's very
Shapiro?
attractive.
Was
But
that it?
I think that because he's such a career politician.
He's such a thirst trap for the Oval.
I know, but like, why? Like, to me, I'm like, my hope is that like maybe he could be a blank canvas and he would just be like,
This is you relapsing.
no, not relapsing. My hope. This is my hope. But this is if he becomes a nominee. But
Guy who has controlled the Democratic stronghold of California
I know.
with an iron fist
I
and the
know.
veto pen is going to magically become
I'm not saying I think it's
a
going to
social
happen. I
democrat.
just said that would be my hope. But I'm also not. This is not my. At this,
No, you're-
at this point, I'm
you're
extraordinarily
selling it to yourself already to
extraordinarily
vote for him.
disappointed in
Who do you
Gavin
vote for,
Newsom.
JD Vance or Gavin Newsom?
Well, I'd have to vote for Gavin Newsom.
Me
of
too.
course, 100%.
I wouldn't blink.
There's
What
no-
about you, Hasan?
I'd probably vote third party.
You would?
Oh yeah.
Jesus
I mean, at that point, it doesn't even matter. Like, because my policy on this is the same as like my refusal to endorse Kamala Harris. The reason why I did not endorse Kamala Harris was because she did things that were not only unproductive but also unconscionable. And I still stand on that. I still talk about it all the time because people constantly bring it up like, you didn't sufficiently like promote Kamala Harris. You're the reason why.
Yeah, also, is career politician an insult here? Like, isn't Mamdani kind of a career politician? Wasn't he? He's really young, right? And wasn't he in like the city council and everything? I don't remember if he had a state legislator seat. I know Bernie Sanders has been in office for like 5 million years. Oh, I almost fucking domed that guy on accident. Like, is career politician just bad when it's politicians we don't like, or?
I'm like, I am incapable. There is no singular force in this country that is capable of making or breaking an election. And if that was real, then it is the most idiotic thing. Because she did things that were not only unproductive but also unconscionable. And I still stand on that. I still talk about it all the time because people constantly bring it up like, you didn't sufficiently like promote Kamala Harris. You're the reason why she lost. I'm like, I am incapable. There is no singular force in this country that is capable of making or breaking an election. And if that was real, then it is the most idiotic thing not to listen to my demands. But everybody knows that that's not real, right? If I had this singular...
Like, this analysis is so stupid in like 50 different ways. People always do this. Emma Vigeland did this when we had that weird PV event with me, Vaush, and her speaking, where they're like, oh, well, I'm just an online person. I don't have any influence whatsoever. And it's like, then what are you doing? What, you don't think you can influence anybody? We literally get paid to sell products. What do you think sponsors pay us for? It's because we influence people to buy shit. Well, why do you talk politics all the time? Is it literally just a get together with you and your friends and you wouldn't care if nobody listened or if the entire country, like, do you have a political mission or not? Like, what a weird thing to say that you feel like you have no influence over anything.
Force to be able to make Kamala Harris the president, then Kamala Harris should be coming to me every day and being like, let me do a collab with you, please.
Totally.
But then also, let's assume you do have a lot of influence. And he's like, well, if I do, then why aren't they trying to appeal to me more? Because appealing to you might turn off more voters than it wins, right? Like, that's not that hard to understand, no?
Right? That's not the case, of course, and they know it. That's why they didn't do it. But the campaigns are always responsible for whether or not they're able to win the crowds, win the population over, and combat against the couch. Not necessarily even against the Republican Party, but usually you're fighting against the couch. People who just don't go out and vote. And for me,
if the campaigns are responsible and nobody else, then why did you guys get so fucking mad with how the media covered Bernie Sanders or how the media treats any of the progressive woke candidates? So, like, this is such a, like, all of these are unserious positions. He doesn't believe these with any level of consistency from one candidate to the next. It's just like word vomit. All of this shit is word vomit.
The way I see it is if the Democratic establishment makes this decision one more time, just as they did with Hillary Clinton, just as they did with Kamala Harris, and in some ways just as they did with Joe Biden as well, which led to Trump too, then they just don't care. And there's not much I can do
Let me tell
beyond
you
that.
something. I agree with everything you say, but as a person who lived in a red state for 50 years, I would crawl through 10 feet of concrete to vote for Gavin Newsom, even though I think he's duplicitous, a hypocrite, a thirst trap, hungry.
What do you think is the real reason he hates Kamala? I'm sure he has a little bit of resentment because they weren't making the tours on his show, so he's probably a little bit salty because of that. But then also because he's a socialist. These guys don't share our mission. They would never support any electable Democratic candidate because definitionally, anybody who's electable in the Democratic Party is probably not going to align with their mission as socialists. They want to create their own political party. He's basically said these exact words when he was criticizing Mamdani for supporting the wrong person, saying that he doesn't want Mamdani to build the Democratic Party. He wants Mamdani to build a socialist movement within the Democratic Party.
For power, all of the things that you say, and harms the Democratic Party and sets the psychological soil to be more prey to fascism. All of that I agree with. But there are so many young, queer, black, brown, marginalized people in red states. And even though this corporate Democrat is, you see it in a long-term game. In the short-term game, a President Newsom over a President J.D. Vance means that these people have some protection because these red states, like here's what has happened in red states. The Democratic Party abandoned the 50-state strategy. So you have Republicans or a Republican that switches parties a Dem, and their goal is to out-crazy each other. So in Oklahoma, we have like 0 Muslim population, but we have banned Sharia law like 4 times. You have a guy that's running for governor right now that's so against transgender people that he has a commercial where there's a banana and he slices it with a knife. Like that somehow people are going to start whacking wieners off at school in Oklahoma City public schools where they just put Trump Bibles in them. So you have this, that people out-crazy each other, and these state governments are so fucking unhinged. When you live in California, or New York, where I live now, you lose touch, even before Trump, of how diabolical these unhinged right-wingers are. And I agree with you. I think Gavin Newsom has committed political suicide. I think Kamala started off her campaign well, and she should have stayed to the left and leaned into it. I thought she was liberal anyway, so why not just lean into it? But I would enthusiastically crawl through 10 feet of concrete for all of the marginalized people.
Do you feel like the Democrats know that, and that's why they get away with their ineptitude?
Why aren't you more against Kamala in the primary? I don't know if Kamala would even run. I know that they were tweeting out things, but like it's like 3 years from now. Like we're so far away from that election. I'm not even thinking about that election right now.
100%.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
so I'm like, I don't even entertain that stuff, especially this far out from an election. But even in the primary season, that's immediately the conversation is like, well, whoever is the candidate, you're going to vote for them, right? And you know what's really indecent about that too? They never returned the favor for left flank candidates because no one ever made hay about Bernie Sanders potentially becoming the candidate, and all of the articles that came out about how Trump might be more preferable to Bernie Sanders because they were writing those.
I don't even know what he's talking about with this.
Girls were writing those articles talking about how the head of Goldman Sachs, who was like, I'm a lifetime Democratic Party voter. I think Donald Trump is better than Bernie Sanders.
I know several people personally that went on that Bernie Sanders to Trump pipeline.
No, it's a real thing.
It's a crazy thing because these, Bernie appealed to the
Well, Salo, thank you for subbing for 29 months.
To the anger of these young people that they couldn't afford, the cost of living, healthcare, everything like that. He appealed to them, just like Trump.
Sorry if this is a stupid question, but why don't socialists make their own socialist party? Maybe I'm just too European to understand. In the United States, you generally just have like a 2-party system when it comes to presidential elections. It's really hard for anything else to win. You could win other seats, but the reality is third parties are generally just too lazy in the United States to do it. They just don't like to because it would actually require them to do real political work, and most of them are just too fucking lazy. So libertarians will just have their once a year rallying around a guy for the presidential election, and then everybody else will just kind of like meme about with third party shit, sometimes serving as spoiler candidates. But otherwise, people are just they don't want to put the work in to actually make a party and try to win in local offices and build up like a real political movement.
Trump does, but obviously Trump's solutions are, blame it on the immigrants, the trans people, and everything like that. But it's crazy to me that these people exist.
I'll tell you what's really started to change me a lot is when Zoran, who incredible candidate, laser focused on affordability, laser focused on universal human rights, did not have to throw one fucking group under the bus. I've had Cory Booker on my podcast. He talks about we've got to get rid of corporate money. We've got to get rid of Zoran did all of that. And Hakeem, day late and a dollar short to endorse. Chuckles never endorsed. And then Cory Booker never endorsed. And the way he was treated by the Democratic establishment is so appalling to me. It really opened up my eyes because I'm like, this is the new shiny object right now in the Democratic Party. He has a formula. He has it. He has the movement. He took on billionaires. He took on the Democratic establishment, and he kicked their fucking ass and didn't take one corporate dime. And the corporate Democrats
Wait, who are they talking about right now?
This is the new shiny object. He was treated by the Democratic establishment is so appalling to me. It really opened up my eyes because I'm like, this is the new shiny object right now in the Democratic Party. He has a formula. He has it. He has the movement. He took on billionaires. He took on the Democratic establishment, and he kicked their fucking ass and didn't take one corporate dime. And
again, this is mayor of New York City. This is the mayor of New York City. Why do we keep pretending like the mayor of New York City is generalizable to the ordinary United States population?
the corporate Democrats like trying to distance themselves. I was like, oh, they really are MAGA light. They really are.
They didn't just distance themselves. There were people that distanced themselves, and then there were people that were attacking Zoran in the most
Islamophobia.
like Kirsten Gillibrand coming out and being like Zoran is a jihadist who wants to kill all Jews.
Yeah,
that was insane. That's like shit that Trump doesn't say about Zoran. Trump now loves Zoran, but like even before, like the fact that there were establishment Democrats that were more Islamophobic towards Zoran Mamdani than the president, who is the top Islamophobe, was mind-boggling.
Am I making this up, or did Trump talk about? Hold on. Didn't Trump say that if Mamdani won in New York City, that he would pull like all federal funding from New York or something? Am I making this up? I feel like Trump was threatening crazy shit if Mamdani won, but I guess we just are forgetting about all that. So, okay.
To me, it was yet another moment of vindication, though. So for me, it's like I think these guys are zealots. The establishment Democrats are zealots. They have this defense of liberalism that they will not shake off, that they think they will be able to go back to business as usual politics no matter what. And even if it doesn't happen, even if we do turn fascist, they'll still hold their cushy positions and they'll be complacent and they'll be fine. And that's what I'm terrified of. And that's what I'm very frustrated about. And I think
the Kirsten Gillibrand comment true? I don't know. There were a couple people that said some pretty retarded things about Mamdani. I don't know for hers or not. I know that Cuomo was going crazy on it. A big part of that argument does revolve around harm reduction voting, because harm reduction voting is correct.
It's right. In theory, it is correct. But harm reduction voting does not actually lead to Democrats winning decisively, and it certainly does not force them to legislate appropriately when they are in power to make sure that they're following on.
Yeah, okay. I didn't want to say that because I didn't know if that was just about Ilhan Omar, but yeah, he was talking about stripping Mamdani of his citizenship as well. So Jesus.
Their agenda, and that they never have an incompetent fascist win office ever again. That's precisely the reason why I try to stay away from harm reduction narratives to the best of my ability, because that is the reason why democratic complacency is calcified in this country.
I agree.
I agree. And I hope that during the primary that we are able to find a more progressive candidate that will run as fearlessly as Zoran Mamdani in New York.
I agree. All right. Any last grievances that you would like to share with the I've had it listeners? What is it?
With fucking Bluetooth connections in the car. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
It's like, hello?
Okay. We had apparently Sam Seder's first defense of Hasan. I think this is the second one, though. This is one day ago. Is there one from before this?
Okay.
What is this?
Can we just trust my judgment here every now and then? Can we have a fraction of confidence?
He is such a fucking cult leader, man. I swear to God. I am going to be so relentless, you guys. A demon has been activated within me. I am going to be I will fucking tweet about Hasan 30 times a day for the next year. I don't give a fuck. I have such a singleness of purpose, sounding the alarm about these fucking snakes.
True. Pretty bad. They're pretty bad.
I'm going to have so much stamina, it's going to fucking blow your minds. God damn it. We need to fucking sound the alarm now.
Yep.
We need to do it
Get
now.
them out. Not good duders. They're not good. Let's see. Jennifer Welch's response after. Somebody find me the first Sam Seder reaction to the
All right. Although the
I believe what I have up, I think this is the second one.
Democratic Party is winning right now, they're winning because MAGA is so horrible. They're polling historically low. And within the Democratic Party, you have a couple of different sects. You have the corporate Democrats,
What?
the vote blue no matter who. And then you have real progressive Democrats who kind of feel homeless but end up voting with the Democrats because of harm reduction. And I was the former, and I'm morphing into the latter. After Kamala lost, I really started taking a look. Why are the Democrats losing to this man, this moronic fascist man? How are we losing? So I had a conversation with leftist streamer Hasan Piker and Austin Show on I've Had It in New York City. And a clip from our conversation is going viral all over Twitter and social media, TikTok, Instagram, et cetera. And this conversation to me is it appears that people online are trying to shut this conversation down. And when somebody's trying to do that, then I think, oh, this is the conversation we absolutely need to have. And so I'm going to play a little bit of it right now. Please do not back out of this video, because to me, this is the most important conversation to be had within the political spaces right now for anybody that wants to fight fascism. Play the clip.
Disappointed in
Who do you
Gavin
vote for,
Newsom.
JD Vance or Gavin Newsom?
Well, I'd have to vote for Gavin Newsom.
Me
of
too.
course, 100%.
I wouldn't blink.
There's no
What
doubt.
about you, Hasan?
I'd probably vote third party.
You would?
Oh yeah. I mean, at that point, it doesn't even matter. Like, because my policy on this is the same as like my time, because it make a case of whether they're able to win the crowds.
Okay, pause that right there, Kylie, and leave it up. So what he's saying here, I think, is really true. Number one, when it comes to Gavin Newsom, for somebody like Hasan, who has felt very homeless in the American two-party system, you have Gavin. I gave him a hypothetical question: Gavin Newsom or JD Vance. Gavin Newsom, instead of going on Hasan's show, he has had Charlie Kirk on, and he has had Ben Shapiro on. Gavin Newsom has. In each case, he ceded progressive causes. He ceded trans rights, and he ceded ICE to Ben Shapiro.
Really? He ceded trans rights because he said maybe having in like NCAA sports, maybe having cis women and trans women playing together is kind of a bad idea, which it is, by the way, and it's a losing idea, but it's also just a bad idea. And then I didn't listen to his conversation with Ben Shapiro. Did Gavin Newsom cede all of ICE to Ben Shapiro? Is that a good faith summary of that conversation?
Very easily. He's fumbled on Israel big time, and he's a huge corporate
boy.
donor,
Okay.
receives a lot of PAC money. And he has said that he will not tax billionaires. All of these things are very unpopular with Democrats at large, specifically with this group of people that feel homeless in the America two-party system. So from Hasan's perspective here, he's like, I'm going to vote third party because he doesn't see any difference in the help for marginalized people. He sees one person that campaigns as slightly liberal, yet takes all of the same money from these corporate PACs. And so online, The
Slightly
liberals
liberal.
have completely wet the bed, and they're going after Hasan 2.5 years out from a general election, and are trying to pigeonhole him in that he's a terrible American, and all of this could be his fault, which is insane. If we look at historically what's been happening in American politics, Bernie started beating this drum, and his message, in my opinion, and I didn't vote for Bernie, and I have recently said I regret that vote because I have been doing a lot of internal thinking and studying as to what are my politics, because my politics have typically been my whole adult life. I'm liberal and I vote with Democrats. Well, the Democrats keep losing. And so I started digging beneath that surface. Why are Democrats losing? Specifically during Kamala Harris's campaign when she started trotting around with Liz Cheney.
Oh my God, dude, the Liz Cheney talking point. These guys are obsessed with her. Holy shit, obsessed.
Struck me like, why is she trying to get these people to vote for her that will never, ever vote for her? Why isn't she courting the progressive side of the party? And here's what's so critical. In the last campaign, it's not that Trump grew his vote. It's that less people that typically vote Democrat turned out. So the Democratic Party, instead of courting the progressive people in the last campaign, it's not that Trump grew his vote.
Well, Trump did get 3 million more. Was it 2 or 3 million? We looked this up. He did get 2 or 3 million more voters than he had in the last election. But I guess we just, for these guys, just information or reality doesn't matter. Okay.
It's that less people that typically vote Democrat turned out. So the Democratic Party, instead of courting the progressive...
Kamala campaigning with Liz Cheney was objectively a bad idea. No one is a neocon anymore. Campaigning with, you mean doing like one event where she was on stage? I think getting as much endorsement as possible from as broadly a coalition as possible, I think is perfectly fine. To pretend like she lost because of the one Liz Cheney thing or whatever, give me a break. That's such a fucking cope. To say that one Liz Cheney could taint an entire political movement so much, but these crazy, unhinged, Stalin-loving, Holodomor-denying, Mao-obsessed fucking tanky LARPers, that none of them would have a negative impact is delusion. Sorry, that's delusional.
Side, they go in court the Ben Shapiros, the Liz Cheneys, the Charlie Kirks, these elusive right-wingers that are never, ever, ever going to peel off and vote for a liberal. Because here's the thing. In middle America, everybody believes Kamala to be super progressive. The Hasans of the world are like, no, she's a corporate dim. Gavin Newsom is a corporate dim. But in the psyche of the American public, they're like, oh, they're so liberal. So moving to the center is a fool's errand and is perceived as disingenuous. So Kylie, pop up, or let's finish this clip and then I'll pop up some of the reactions.
Combat against the couch, not necessarily even against the Republican Party, but usually you're fighting against the couch, people who just don't go out and vote. And for me, the way I see it is if the Democratic establishment makes this decision one more time, just as they did with Hillary Clinton, just as they did with Kamala Harris, and in some ways, just as they did with Joe Biden as well, which led to Trump too, then they just don't care. And there's not much I can do.
Let me tell you something. I agree with everything you say, but as a person who lived in a red state for 50 years, I would crawl through 10 feet of concrete to vote for Gavin Newsom, even though I think he's duplicitous, a hypocrite, a thirst trap, hungry for power, all of the things that you say, and harms the Democratic Party and sets the psychological soil to be more prey to fascism. All of that I agree with. But there are so many young, queer, black, brown, marginalized people in red states. And even though this corporate Democrat is, you see it in a long-term game. In the short-term game, a President Newsom over a President J.D. Vance. Okay, so that's the clip, and that's where they cut it off that went viral. And Hasan was making the point to me, and we're friends. And so we're having a political conversation, and these conversations should not be shut down. This is the most important conversation as far as Democrats.
Nobody is saying the conversation should be shut down. I don't know where she's getting this weird cancel culture take from. We're saying you have a fucking stupid opinion. Who's trying to shut down the conversation? What? Or maybe I'm sure somebody is, but...
Democrats winning moving forward. Hasan is saying, look, Democrats are up against the couch. What are you going to do to motivate people to get up off their ass and go vote? Going and playing patty cake with Ben Shapiro is not going to do it. Playing patty cake with Liz Cheney is not going to do it. Okay. Taking AIPAC money is not going to do it. It's going to make people like Hasan and many, many others that feel homeless in the United States political, two-party political system stay on the couch. And so I think that's a really valid point. Now, I have this red state trauma of living in a red state for 50 years and seeing how damaging Republican policies are. And so I will vote for these short-term solutions to mitigate so that a woman who has been raped can receive health care, can get an abortion, because in Oklahoma right now she can't. And I'm interested in having this conversation with Hasan because what we voted for with Biden is we voted for a sober driver.
Oh, true. It is. It's also projection. They want to shut down Newsom from talking to Kirk and Shapiro. True, actually. You're right. That is true.
A drunk driver with Trump, and we needed a sober driver, and Joe Biden was our sober driver. And Joe Biden did some good things. There was a lot of policies that he did that were good, but a lot of things
When is she going to walk back from that into just saying that Joe Biden was a complete and total failure? She fucking hates Joe Biden. I'm sure she's on her way. Don't worry.
Did continued and incubated fascism. And it's a really important conversation we have to have. The Democratic Party taking corporate money, giving blank checks to Israel.
Like it was because of Israel. That's how we incubated fascism. Israel. It's always Israel at the end of the day.
Compromises them. And then to the voters at large, they go, well, there's really no difference in the two. And then you end up voting, your
By the way, voters at large didn't give a fuck about Israel-Palestine. Voters at large cared about inflation and affordability and, broadly speaking, the economy, and I think immigration even. What was it, like 6% or whatever, ranked that, I don't remember if it was foreign policy in general. It might have been Israel-Palestine in particular. Like, that just wasn't a big driving factor in the election, regardless of your thoughts on it. It just wasn't.
Conceived default settings of politics. And so here's what happens. That's where they cut off the video. And stay with me here. Here's all the liberals just bashing Hasan. This guy, Tim, this is incredible when you think about it. If leftists like Hasan had their way, Republicans would be in charge from 2016 to 2032 at least.
True.
How is he even considered any sort of left? And what I would say to Tim here is what Hasan is saying is we need to build a party that has an FDR style impact, that really, really impacts the lives of people instead of this slow moving incremental change that the current Democratic Party always proposes and leaves so many people out in the pasture and incubates them to go vote for the change candidate. And in both 2016 and 2024, that change candidate was Donald Trump.
Does this woman not know that Hasan is a tanky? Most of these people, this woman probably included, don't really understand the kind of the weird like propaganda language that people like Hasan use. That's why he's able to go mask on. For a lot of older people, I know that we've kind of, well, I say we, but not even really for like millennials in general, just us people who are like very online have kind of a little bit of a better handle on the whole like socialism thing and how like kind of weirdly subversive they try to be. But most people don't have any concept of that, especially like older people. They're going to think of socialists as being kind of like the weirdo communist people. But when they see people like Hasan, they're going to see him as being like, oh, he's like a progressive, like a far left Democrat. They're not going to see any major ideological difference there. That's why she keeps saying, like in her mind, the only thing that the Dems need to do is move a little bit to the left and then they would capture all these people just like Hasan. But it's also probably a little confusing to her because when she thinks of like the BLM riots and all that stuff, she's also thinking of a lot of people who are just like further left, but they're not. There's like a fundamental difference here, but she just doesn't have the political acumen, vocabulary, understanding, I guess, to know the difference that much. Which again, to be fair, like a lot of people who aren't super online and dealing with these types of people, or maybe who aren't in like college campuses, just won't see that very much.
Harris put herself with Liz Cheney. They reeked of the two-party system establishment. And again, Donald Trump seemed like the disruptor. Go to the next one. This is the one that really popped up. Usurp, the chef, says, when asked if he'd vote for Gavin Newsom or J.D. Vance for president, Hasan said he'd vote third party. This proves Hasan doesn't care about any of the marginalized groups he pretends to support. All he cares about is taking money from them so he can buy more outfits for stream. True. Okay, usurp the chef. This is intellectually dishonest completely from top to bottom. Gavin Newsom has proven that he doesn't care about trans people. Gavin Newsom has proven that he doesn't care about the illegal nature of what ICE is doing.
Because of his one
Ben Shapiro.
comment
and so to put the burden of this on Hasan, who's saying,
athletes?
I'm not going to settle for a fascist collaborator who always is reaching to platform fascists and to find
fascist
common ground with
collaborator?
them. It's just intellectually dishonest because Hasan has a record of standing up for trans people. And when Gavin Newsom did that with Charlie Kirk, that pain was felt through the trans community far and wide. And Pete Buttigieg did the same. And Rahm Emanuel came on my podcast and did the same. And so to say that Hasan doesn't care about marginalized groups is completely disingenuous because what he's saying is, I'm not buying the lie that Gavin Newsom does. I'm not buying that anymore because each time I do, or each time we do, it incubates a more and more fascist culture. Here's the part of the video that they cut out that I think provides incredible context for the remainder of our conversation. Pop this up, Kylie. Enthusiastically crawl through 10 feet of concrete for all of the marginalized people.
Do you feel like the Democrats know that and that's why they get away with their ineptitude?
100%.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
so I'm like,
okay, pause right
I don't even...
So Hasan clocked me right there, and I'll own it because my politics are open-minded. They're not fixed. I don't play nanny boo-boo politics that, oh my God, you said you would vote third party, therefore you must be canceled. Number one, Hasan's not a politician. Number two, Hasan gets to think whatever he thinks. Number three, there is a large growing number of Americans in Gen Z and as millennials that have felt completely unseen and left behind by the two-party political system, who hate and despise how much they suck up to corporations, who see the moral duplicity in a Hakeem.
Like, what are all these non-points? Like, Hasan is allowed to think what he wants to think. Like, that's such a weird non-point, right? Like, why does she keep bringing this up? This is some shit that somebody says to you, if you're not being like autistic, when you know they're about to completely and totally walk away from something. Maybe like it could be like a relationship or a project or something. Where like you're fighting with somebody and it's like the whole like, oh, well, can we go here? Can we do this? And like, you know what? You can do whatever you want to do. And it's like, if you're retarded, you're like, oh, cool. Okay, awesome. But like, if you understand what's going on, you're like, oh shit, this person's about to walk away from whatever the fuck it is we're talking about. Right? Like nobody is saying that Hasan can't have a certain opinion. That's fine. We just think it's a dog shit fucking opinion. That's what people are arguing about.
Jeffries, a Gavin Newsom, a Chuck Schumer, a Cory Booker, who take money from the MAGA corporate donors and also take it from them. And so when Hasan said that to me, do you think the Democrats know that and take your vote for granted? And I said 100%.
Also, this idea of focusing on donor money, like what are we talking about in terms of policies or output? Can we talk about that instead of this vague allusion to like corporate donor money, the corporate money, the corporate money, the corporate donor money, the corporate, like what did he do differently? What do you want to see different? Like is it literally just that? Like who's donating? Is that the only thing that you care about? You don't care about any policy or anything whatsoever? Is there no way for me to fucking loot that because it broke this way? Are we being real right now? Like, can we reference a single noteworthy thing at all? Or are we just going to obsessively say corporate money, corporate money, corporate money over and over again and pretend that that's like a substitute for having any real talking points?
He's right, because they do. Because I have this red state trauma. So I end up thinking, okay, I'm going to do a harm reduction vote. The reason why this conversation is so important, listener, is because we have time right now to have these conversations and to move our politicians to a progressive populist platform. We have the opportunity right now to rid ourselves via primaries of corporate Democrats who lie to us and use our votes and take advantage of our votes and our compassion for marginalized groups and use them to their advantage to then curry favor with.
Okay, then put up a candidate. Then put somebody up. Why do they never do that? Put somebody up then. If you don't like the candidate that's out there, if you don't like Newsom, then fine. But then put up your own candidate. Where is this obsession of like the Dems need to appeal to me? Find a candidate and put it up. What the fuck?
Corporations and then go make massive stock exchange trades while in Congress. Okay, continue with that clip.
Good one.
Even entertain that stuff, especially this far out from an election. But even in the primary season, that's immediately the conversation is like, well, whoever is the candidate, you're going to vote for them, right? And you know what's really indecent about that too? They never returned the favor for left flank candidates because no one ever made hay about Bernie Sanders potentially becoming the candidate. And
I don't know what he's talking about there. What does he mean they never support? It's not like people have iced out left-wing people from Congress or like AOC. Well, you could argue actually that Nancy kind of fucked over AOC. I think that was more personal than her just being to the left. But like she's on committees, they work with her. They work with the left-wing people. But they're just not that popular. They're just not, their political opinions are just not that popular among the American population. But every single thing will be considered for these people beyond that idea. Like I've said this before, this is my same criticism, I think, back in 2020 and then in debates I had around then. Progressives always have this understanding that the American population broadly supports every single thing they want. If they don't, it's just because they just haven't heard it yet, or they haven't heard it loud enough, or because the CIA is blocking it. Like that's it. Every defeat is to be blamed on the CIA or big something or some type of corporate donor or APAC or whatever, but it's never because the policies aren't that popular. They're just not that popular. Like that's just an unfathomable thing. And it's so fucking annoying to hear these people cry over and over and over again about these same things while refusing to just consider like maybe your platform's just not that popular, you know?
all of the articles that came out about how Trump might be more preferable to Bernie Sanders. Because they were writing those. Liberals were writing those articles talking about how, the head of Goldman Sachs, who was like, I'm a lifetime Democratic Party voter. I think, Donald Trump is better than Bernie Sanders.
I know.
So I just think this is a super important conversation to have. And if you have people on the left that are shutting this down, they are failing to do a proper autopsy. We know that Ken Martin at the DNC spiked the autopsy as to why we lost. He spiked it. I suspect that in that autopsy as to why Kamala lost is because the Democrats refuse to listen to voices like this. And I am willing to go into these conversations with Hasan and get owned. Do you think the Democrats know that you're always going to do that and take advantage of your vote? Yes, I do. I do think that. Anytime you have a political party or a political movement that is shutting down this type of conversation, when we lost 2 elections to a complete dipshit, an incompetent con man, and we can't have the conversation with the progressive flank of our party, that Bernie Sanders created a movement and it continues to permeate through the Democratic Party.
But not really, though. Like, that's the problem. When the Tea Party came up, they did get a movement. They got a caucus and they started voting a certain way and they had to be listened to and they had to be reckoned with. The whole Bernie Sanders thing basically fell apart the instant Bernie Sanders left office, or not left office, I'm sorry, but that after that political after the attempt at president, I guess, and then all of his people basically scattered off into the wind to become the worst types of fucking people ever. They all did become the worst types of people ever. Your Breonna Joy Grays and your I don't remember the one guy who got accused of whatever bullshit and then disappeared. But like, these people just didn't build anything politically. They built podcasts and they built pundit studios, and then that's it. They didn't get anybody elected. They have no power in Congress. Nina Turner, Virgil, Texas, that's the guy I was thinking of. Like, that's it. They have nothing to show for it. Like, if these guys could actually win seats in competitive areas, or I guess maybe even steal some more super blue Dem ones, then I guess maybe we'd listen to them, but ugh.
So much so that you see progressives winning right now, Zoran Mamdani. And when you look at all of the issues that Zoran won on,
dude.
line item by line item by line item, and you take them out of being progressive, conservative, Democrat, Republican, they're all super popular policies. So this Democratic establishment that Hasan is speaking out so much against they don't want people to know that. So I have a really hard time with the liberals online right now trying to shut this conversation down and deny Hasan his opinion or browbeat Hasan from here to Timbuktu because he is pointing out a conversation that we need to have. And I think the reason Kamala lost because nobody wanted to get off their couch that was super progressive because they feel like both parties are the same because they're not lazy corporate news voters that just takes what MSNBC says and takes what CNN.
True. They're not like the lazy corporate news voters. These are the highly informed podcast people, the podcast crowd. They're way smarter. Oh my God. So true, Queen. Yes.
Says, and then goes out and votes. They have dug deeper. These are very high information voters that go, no, wait a minute. AIPAC spent $200 million to get Trump elected. It's clear Benjamin Netanyahu wants him elected. Kamala is taking money from the same PAC, really isn't talking about this genocide and the blank check to Israel. I see this as a continuation as more of the same with it being slightly rebranded. And I just think it's very MAGA-esque to shut down
how much money did AIPAC or whatever give to Kamala? If you just said they gave $200 million to Trump, wouldn't that be a place to start? If Israel is such a huge fucking concern for you, a person who literally probably knows nothing about this entire conflict, which I guarantee you she doesn't, then wouldn't that be a good place to start? If that's going to be your single defining thing, how much money did AIPAC give to Kamala?
Conversation like that with Hasan and me, and to take a side on that, and to not.
Do you think we're at least heading towards a direction where people across the country are more progressive candidates? No, not yet.
Understand that Hasan and I were having a super important conversation that should be front and center of every Democratic conversation right now as we head into midterms. How do we build a majority party that services the most people without throwing any groups under the bus and doesn't prioritize servicing corporations? And that's what he's saying. And I'm okay with us being at the end of the day that Hasan might be the person that sits on the couch and I might be the person that goes and votes for the corporate Dem. And I'm still evolving on that. And I have to keep an open mind about it. But more than anything, Hasan and I are online personalities. We are not politicians. And we both get to have our opinions about this. And we get to succinctly disagree or push each other and evolve. But when I see liberals or people in the Democratic Party trying...
I need to take notes on shit like this. How do you make a 20-minute response video to some shit without ever saying anything of fucking substance? We're allowed to have opinions. We can have opinions. We're allowed to have opinions. How many times has she repeated that talking point? Jesus Christ.
To completely shut him down and shut down this conversation, it feels very cultist to me. It feels the opposite of what a progressive...
Cultist. The Democratic Party at large are cultists, but the hyper small selection of rabid tankies who all stand the same one or two politicians, definitely not cultists. Okay, thank you.
Movement, a resistant movement to fascism should be. And then Kylie put up the tweet and the graph about where the Democrats are right now.
Would you debate Vaush on him supporting Vance over Newsom? I mean, I guess if you wanted to have a debate, sure, but I don't think he would. He's permanently fortress arced. Also, his community's been super mad about that as well.
Hasan says, liberal Twitter has erupted, demanding party loyalty, hitting lesser evilism and harm reduction lines 2 years out from the presidential election. But they refuse to reckon with this historic unpopularity for the Dems as Trump is deeply unpopular. Hold your electeds accountable, please. So here we have the Democratic Party. The favorability is 33%, historic lows. And what Hasan is saying is, why do I, as a voter, why did this large voting group, why do we have to concede? Why aren't the politicians...
Who do these people want to run for president? They'll never, ever, ever tell you. They can't tell you. The reason why they won't tell you is because, one, they either don't have a candidate to point to, or two, they would point to a candidate that might actually have a fucking chance of winning, and then they would have to actually engage with politics. And nothing scares a lefty more than actually having to do something political. They hate it. They hate it. So they will never give an actual fucking electable candidate. They might name some random irrelevant person or point to some random bullshit, but they're just totally impotent when it comes to choosing and pushing for an actual candidate.
Conceding that corporations are not in the best interest of the people. And the people in the Democratic Party that are trying to shut this down, all you're doing is giving his platform more power. Because when I see the Democratic establishment behave this way in a cult-like way to say that we can't have an honest conversation about this, it makes me really lean into what Hasan is saying and dive into it more and more, because oftentimes progressives are they're right. They're just right way too early. And so if you think about where Bernie Sanders was in 2016, he was right. His message has aged far better. I didn't buy it at the time. I thought, oh, Bernie's crazy. He can't win an election. And the fact of the matter is he probably would have beaten Trump. And where would we be now if we would stop listening to corporate Dems and the personalities that prop up this? We have to be a fixed party that preserves this two-party system. And we cannot push our elected officials to service the American people more. So I just wanted to respond to all of this and say that me as a voter and as an online commentator, I'm going to continue to have these conversations. And the more the Democratic Party tells people to shut up, the more I realize how rigged the whole thing is. And then I end up going further and further left. Every Democratic politician should be shutting down corporate money. Every Democratic politician should be going on shows like mine, and especially shows like Hasan's, because that's where the people didn't show up, because they are tired of being lied to by Democrats. All right, that's all I have. Like, subscribe, comment. Be back later with more news.
Okay, apparently this is Sam Teeter's first defense of this.
Hasan is right. Newsom would just create a slow decline to fascism. Also, all the liberals wanting to start the vote blue no matter who. Before the primary, before the midterms, they were really quiet about Zoran. This is in reference to Hasan Piker was on with Jennifer Welsh on it was I've Had It, right?
No, it was a third-person show. I'm not as familiar with.
Okay, well, nevertheless, he was asked, Gavin Newsom and J.D. Vance, who would you vote for? Hasan, being in California, is A, both very familiar with Gavin Newsom, and B, in California. And he said he would vote third party. Now, I assume people are not upset about how he's going to vote personally because it's California. And as I've said many times, like, you know, the issue in a safe state, who you're going to vote for is sort of secondary. But also, and I am someone who votes for the lesser of two evils. But the idea that you would espouse the voting of the lesser of two evils in a primary, because that's where we are. Let's be clear. There is no nominee for the Democratic primary, and there is
no one was talking about right now. Does he even know what the original conversation was about? They were saying in a hypothetical where it's J.D. Vance versus Newsom.
There's no nominee for the Republican. I should say, there's no Democratic nominee for the presidency.
There is no primary right now.
Republican nominee for the presidency. The idea that you would even be remotely perturbed during essentially what we're in is the pre-primary or the primary for 2028 as to what people are saying. I mean, I would imagine when we were in 2020 saying something effective like, I can't even imagine voting for Joe Biden. It is stupid. And what it does to me when people do that, I mean, obviously, yes, there's the hypocrisy about Chuck Schumer not voting for Zoran and Jeffries, like, you know, endorsing so late. I mean, all of that. It just goes to show.
Did Schumer say he didn't vote for Zoran in the general? Or did he just mean to say in lack of, like, outward endorsement?
Like, they don't even believe that stuff. But, in fact, I probably believe it more than they do.
Probably Hasan does.
But the idea that you would chastise somebody during a primary for such a thing gives away the game to me. Like, I am very late to the awareness of people being, and obviously now we have stories about how people are being paid online, influencers and stuff like that. I mean, I started doing this at a time where the idea of that was absurd. There was no mechanism for anything like that. And
Hasan did vote for Kamala and refused endorsement, like Schumer, even if he voted blue. These are two totally different things. You're talking about a national level election versus not a national level election, and you're talking about a political influencer whose job it is to influence people to vote nationally. That's not even remotely. Those aren't even remotely comparable things. And these, yeah.
So it never really occurs to me, but like I am just shocked that there is supposedly this many people motivated about who you're going to vote for in the 2028 presidential election. Like we're not even in the primary yet. It's a very weird reaction.
Especially in the context of the previous election and what happened, say, in Michigan.
Yes, and I will also say, like, what's clearly going on right now, to the extent that there is any competition for the Democratic establishment and the narrative about which...
Okay, so Sam just has no idea what he's talking about. He doesn't really know what he's responding to. He has no clue what the hypothetical was. He's just doing his general far-lefty slop. Okay, good. All right, and then this is the second one. Apparently, double down on this.
Science is political. Hasan is right. Newsom would just create a slow decline to fascism. Also, all the liberals wanting to start the vote blue no matter who. Before the primary, before the midterms, they were really quiet about Zoran. This is in reference to Hasan Piker was on with Jennifer Welsh on it was I've Had It, right?
No, it was a third-person show. I'm not as familiar with.
Okay. Well, nevertheless, he was asked Gavin Newsom and J.D. Vance, who would you vote for?
Oh, okay. At least he knows a little bit more of the context this time. Good job.
being in California, is both very familiar with Gavin.
Oh wait, is this the same one? Wait, how did he fuck it up last time then? Wait, this is 1 day ago. This one was
Hasan.
2 days ago. Wait, was this the same one? Did I miss the beginning? Hold
Is
on.
right.
Oh, it is the same one. Never mind. Wait, where's the double down one? This is what I had kid up for this. Wait, so he did have the context in the beginning. He just fucked it up. Okay.
But like, can we?
No. Why do people link me when I'm looking for a certain link? I don't understand people who link me the most random fucking things. Stop. Okay, I'll find it. Hold on. Am I making this up? Was there not a thread titled Sam Cedar doubles down, or they double down to the majority report? Am I making this up? Oh, is this? Never mind, I found it. Oh, but it is the same clip. Oh, so there wasn't
Science is political.
double down. I got misled by this first comment. He doubled down again? Jesus, he used to know better. You motherfucker. Okay.
Every now and then realize that there is a
Now we'll watch this clip from the guy I just banned from chat.
concerted effort here that if we don't push back against right now, it will only fucking grow in momentum, in size. Some of you didn't fucking trust me on the Israel stuff, and you understood that I was right. Some of you stayed behind. Some of you left. Now you're back. Okay? Just please fucking trust me here. The reason why I'm bringing this up at this very moment is because it's going to reach a boiling point. It is already the same exact back and forth, the same exact combative institutional defense of third-way neoliberalism that has been the cancerous entity that is the beating heart of the Democratic Party. And they're going to push it over and over again. That much is clear. A lot of these people who have positioned themselves as being like Democratic content creators on Twitter, which also then turn into like TikTok rants as well, these guys abso-fucking-lutely are doing it already. They're doing it early on, and I appreciate that they're doing it early on. I'm saying it right now. I'll talk to Brian Tyler Cohen. I'll talk to the Midas Touch guys. I'll talk to any of these fucking dudes who want to understand what my position is, what my worldview is.
Anybody who'll give them a friendly interview.
Debate me on it. We can do that. Okay. Anytime, any place. I'm sick and tired of this bullshit. We need to fucking have a normal conversation about it. And we need to nip this shit in the bud, because I know for a fact that the large majorities of these influencers will toe the party line. As long as the party is captured by the left flank that are significantly better candidates with a significantly better national posture.
Then why don't they win elections?
The establishment
Where are
Democrats
they?
do currently, which is precisely the reason why they have a historic unpopularity in this moment.
Where's your popularity for all the leftists?
Like an ideological commitment. They're at most the sex cult freaks. Their ideological commitment revolves around defending the interests of their freak ass fucking pedophilic Twitch streamer.
Oh, I was just about to ask. Oh, he's going to correct and say kickstreamer. I was going to say, are you talking about like the Democrats and Epstein, or am I the whole Democratic Party now? Is that what he's saying? But he's about to say, oh, kickstreamer.
Not Twitch streamer. He's not on Twitch. Sorry. Kick streamer. Right?
True. It's literally me pulling the strings behind the scene for the entire Democratic Party and everybody that disagrees with Hasan Piker. Remember, when Hasan was late to that lady's podcast, oh, this guy's gonna blow me the fuck up. It was because I was the one slowing him down in traffic. It was all me. It was always me.
Bro, what is the point in chatting in human streams like this? Almost like this is done to limit the size while championing democracy. Shut the fuck up. If you're an ultra, if you're an anti-electoralist, this conversation is not for you. See yourself out of it. Okay, shut the fuck up. Either be a good fucking cadre and push back on the shit, or shut the fuck up. Okay, sit on the sidelines and watch. Okay, but I don't want to hear your morally righteous position as a fucking ultra. That has been addressed a million times over by even fucking Vladimir Ilyich Lenin. Okay, fuck off, fuck off. Ultras, pile on the shit libs. Okay, stop fucking yelling at me. I'm tired of it. It's a fucking ideological battle taking place here where these guys have no real staying power in mass politics, where most liberals, most self-identifying liberals want more from their fucking party, want more from their elected representatives, but they are speaking to the consultants that are desperately looking for some kind of momentum. They can't have that real momentum in the real world, so they're trying to build that momentum on fucking Twitter and on TikTok, okay? That's it. This entire thing started with this post.
The campaign
I was on, I've had it.
Okay. This is 4 days old. I don't care.
First time
What's Nick up to?
Super chatter. Look, smacks math PhD old news, but every serious white nat I know disregarded both embarrassing Pusa and Hispanic halftime shows. If it were my call, the show would be Tchaikovsky with bombs and fighter jets lol. Gen Z white nats I know are successful, book smart, jacked, and many are grow-ivers.
You sound like an insufferable idiot.
Evelyn Groy, $25. 2 halves. Could you stop associating the white nat label with GOP chuds, defeatist old heads, and vulgar rebel? They are not an accurate representation of WN. Maybe we need a new label for elite Gen Z to disentangle from them. White ascensionists. You ascend, Europeans ascend, America ascends. RKD4NJF, thanks for the time.
Where do you find these people? Honestly, where do you find people that... It's so depressing that people like this exist, that they have these awful ideas and they think they're good and they tap you on the shoulder and say, hey man, I got a good idea for you.
Isn't it kind of true right now that Dems right now, or isn't it kind of true that Dems right now are super unpopular and it does look like they don't really have a direction of doing things? Yes, I think that is a huge problem with the Dems right now. But I think the solution is because the Democrats just haven't established like a strong commitment to a particular set of ideas. They're more, it kind of just feels like they're in either pander mode or they're too soft or weak to commit to a particular thing. Like they're just too scared to push forward in an actual direction while being willing to take a little bit of heat or risk, and they don't have any coordination among themselves is like the big issue. But it's not because people are like, oh, they don't like the Democratic policies or they don't like the Democratic Party politicians or whatever. They're just, everybody's like afraid of their own fucking shadow on the left, and you can feel that. That's palpable. The fear is palpable. Republicans are fearless to some extent because they have nothing to fear because they're always going to be backed up by their own, literally no matter what the fuck they say or do. But that it translates to how people feel about them.
What if we called ourselves white ascensionists? And you go, yeah, great idea. This is why maybe Goyim were bred for this purpose. You know, honestly, I don't know that it's exactly like this, but Jews are onto something with this whole idea that there's a tiny minority that have souls and the rest only look like human beings, but are in fact animals here to serve an upper class. Like, Jews were definitely cooking with that idea. I don't know that it's Jews that are the ones that are ensouled, but like, it's definitely some kind of minority. Like, Jesus. They were definitely cooking with that framework. Like, they have the framework correct. I just don't know if they have the details right. If it were up to me, they'd be Tchaikovsky. Yeah, that sounds like it would really fucking suck. And you sound like a faggot. You sound like an insufferable faggot. Christ. And your idea sucks. Okay. And I hate you. And if I met you in real life, I would have to grimace and fake laugh. And my face would hurt from forcing a smile to endure the interaction because you are nothing. Because you are goy. Because you are goy cattle. Goyim in abundance. I sometimes wonder how dumb these goyim actually can be, said the Jew.
Ashton Forbes sent $40.
Okay. I don't want to do the Alex video yet. Any interest in watching Gamer Nexus Schizo rant about Discord? I kind of lost a little respect for how hard he's going after it. I don't know.
Discord wants your government ID, and it wants I'm a DGGer.
Uh-oh. Vaush's fan base is getting very mad for 2 reasons. I don't know why, but I still get his threads that pop up on my Reddit app. Oh, well, it's probably because I click the threads, so I guess that would explain it. But one is because apparently lately he's been super electorally doomer-pilled, and 2 is because apparently he really needs a CPAP machine, but he won't get it. I think if you have sleep apnea, it's like a horrible predictor for so many different bad things in your life. So you should, like, CPAP machines are literally life-changing and life-saving, so if you need one, or if a doctor recommends one, you should try getting one. But apparently people don't like looking like Darth Vader while they sleep or something. I don't know.
I have to admit they're a bit obsessed with Hasan. They're completely obsessed with Hasan. I could agree with everything Destiny said about Hasan, which I don't, but I could, and you would still have to accept that they're completely obsessed with Hasan. That's just very obviously the case. And there is a synchronicity there, because I think that Hasan's neurosis about Destiny has at times extended to the point where he's mentally bracketed me in with him, which is crazy to me. What the f are you showing me? A Hasan fan that debated Destiny today got into a fight 30 minutes later. How is there a camera there? Wait, do you mean like debated Destiny at a live event?
It's just man. You just aren't able to sleep with sleep apnea. You never completely fall asleep. I think there's more than that too, though, because your body gets so tired. I think at some point you start like your oxygenation of your blood starts to fall before you finally like wake yourself up coughing and stuff. Like I think it's more than just trouble sleeping. It can lead to a bunch of bad things. Wait, Joe Bro, Dr. Flair said, I've had people in their 40s on a ventilator from bad sleep apnea, causing a cascade of medical problems. I believe that... Oh, hold on, I was about to say shit without knowing. I don't know why, just look it up. I was gonna say, I think that sleep apnea machines just give like gentle positive pressure. So it's not like invasive or harmful, like it just helps you push air in a little bit more. Ventilators are brutal machines. When you have to go on that shit, you're in a very bad place. You don't ever want to have like I bet this stands for like positive airflow pressure or something. What is this? Continuous positive airway pressure. Okay. But anyway.
Man, so much stuff going on the other side.
Dude, actually, all you do, you said you would cower instead of standing up for your values. You're a pussy, bro. How about you hit the gym and some bitches? Bro, look at your heart. You're a bitch. Whoa.
What the f is going on here, man?
I don't know why that guy pushed him. Not good.
Debates are so, but yeah, no, high-minded debate culture. We're back in the.
You become dependent on CPAP machines and sleeping without can kill you. So I don't know if that's true or not, but not having one for sure will cause you to have huge problems. So if you can have one, get one. And then you can also make lifestyle changes, I think, because things like obesity or gaining weight, I think, can also play into developing sleep apnea. I don't know if there are other things that cause it as well, but... Do I need a CPAP? I don't. But I don't think you're ever supposed to really snore that much while sleeping. If you're ever with a partner or if somebody comments that you snore a ton or you wake up kind of like sputtering or coughing, that's a huge indicator that you should do like a sleep study or something.
The goddamn Parthen.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Holy shit.
Can you grab that jacket? I got you. I don't know what happened, but just...
What are we doing with this jacket? All right, well.
Capitalist liberal America, we have the right to disagree.
Dude, you literally bragged about putting Nick Fuentes on the map, dude.
Do you think I put Nick Fuentes on the map? The guy
You
who worked for
literally
Kanye
said that
West
online.
campaign?
You said that online.
Well, I said
you
it, so it's true, but I said I did it. What do you mean? I platformed him because I've debated him in the past. I think you should have debates with
people. Yeah, you platformed him, then you would brag about him becoming famous, do you?
I don't think I was the one that made Nick Fuentes famous.
Then why do you say it?
I don't think I do say that.
There's literally a video of it, along with an inward
compilation. There's a video where there's like a What is this video? I feel like there was a time where I was the only person who would talk to Fuentes because he'd know their connections, so I was surprised that he was willing to burn it, which was true. But I'm pretty sure the thing that, one, got him massively into some people, well, one, his political movement was way big before I started debating him again, and then two, Milo's the one that drafted him into Kanye's camp for stuff, and I haven't spoken to him since that. This weird selection of some things you'll take me hyper literally and believe me completely fully on, even though I don't think I said I'm the only reason why Nick Fuentes is popular. I doubt I ever said that. And then number two, like everything else I say is untrustworthy and unbelievable. And three, apparently I don't get credit for also making Hasan or anybody else, people who have actually positively platformed to put way more effort into. And then four, you don't actually do the analysis on like, wow, what was the platforming like? That, you know, are you just not supposed to debate bad people? Like there's no position. It's such a stupid talking point. But again, wasn't AFPAC massive before you ever talked to him? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I spoke with Nick after he had that big AFPAC event, right? So it's like, it's just such a boring, but none of these talking points are real. Like, it's all just...
7-second clip of me saying something, you saw what a subreddit was.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, a clip of it. I mean, you can say nah all you want, dude, but like actually.
I don't know about this one, lads. I don't know if this is the best position to confront him on. People say this about me and what's his face? That like 5-foot-tall fake communist Nazi guy, the communazi. What's he called? Hinkle, not Haas. They say that about Jackson Hinkle with me because I debated him one time on Assad using chemical weapons on his own people. I think.
Do you think I made Hasan Piker?
Just open a window. Yeah. God damn.
No. But I made Nick Fuentes? Yeah, but
you
know, I platformed Hasan in a way more friendly way when he was a much smaller person than Nick, like way longer, right? Well, I don't think you were debating Hasan Piker in like 2018 and shit like that constantly.
Wasn't I? Didn't I start debating him in like 2019? Also, constantly, I platformed him in such a friendly way. So is debating bad, but platforming them in a friendly way is good? It's so dumb.
Literally debating Hasan in like 2019, and I'm not like a crazy Hasan Piker fan. That's crazy that you obsess about some.
You first talked to Hasan in October of 2010. Oh, and then I like how he pulls this afterwards. Well, I'm not a Hasan fan. Even if you're not a Hasan fan, who cares? I mean, like, answer the question. What? You can say, I don't think you made him, and I'm not a Hasan fan, or I do think, like, are you a Nick Fuentes fan? Is that what you have opinions about Nick? Oh, God.
Tall tan guy. Tall tan guy. He's the largest left-leaning political content.
I don't know about this one. I think rhetorically this might be a difficult avenue to approach him from.
Creator. I also talk about Ben Shapiro.
Yeah, but you automatically assume that like I'm this crazy Hasan Piker fan just because I'm left wing. Why are you like so fucking obsessed with this guy?
Is it crazy for me to assume that you would be politically aligned with the guy who shares your political ideology? Is that really that insane for me to think?
I mean, I just think it's kind of strange that you automatically go to that I'm like a part of this other guy's group.
If I was talking to a MAGA guy and I assumed that he was a Trump supporter, would that be a weird thing for me to assume?
What?
If I was talking to a Trump supporter, or if I was talking to a MAGA person or a conservative and I assumed they were a Trump supporter, would that be a weird thing for me to assume?
Yeah, but I'm not a Hasan supporter.
No, but you're both
I don't
socialists.
define myself.
This is good
Hasan's
stuff.
not like a politician, dude.
Okay, that's
I support
great.
his policies and then put him in office.
I appreciate that answer now. Why were you so quick to reject the idea then that I made him famous, though? Why did you seem personally offended by that?
Because I don't know enough about Hasan because I'm not a fan of Hasan. I don't like watch him.
I have an answer. I don't know anything about that. Do you think that if it weren't for me, do you think Nick Fuentes would just not exist?
I'm a DGGer and I have to admit they're a bit obsessed with Hasan. They're completely obsessed with Hasan. I could agree with everything Destiny said about Hasan, which I don't, but I could, and you would still have to accept that they're completely obsessed with Hasan. That's
okay. For DGG, maybe. I am not personally obsessed with Hasan. I cover him because of that new stuff or whatever that's, that's relevant. I think I talk about it an appropriate amount. Dan is obsessed with Hasan, and there are a portion of my audience that kind of follow that obsession, which is annoying as fuck. But I mean, it is what it is. But I understand at the end of the day, people will conflate whatever they want for whatever purpose they have. But
just very obviously the case. And there is a synchronicity there because, like, I think that Hasan's neurosis about Destiny has at times extended to the point where he's mentally bracketed me in with him, which is crazy to me. But, I don't know. This is precisely why I disagree, because it lowers everyone. Like, you're destroying your root chakra. You are not going to make it. You understand? It's like the political takes have to cultivate in an environment where people aren't stomping over the garden all the time,
You want to be as big.
Really? You don't think the Kanye West campaign helped at all? You don't think Candace Owens and all these other people that...
I mean, I did, but that was like after you, though.
I think it's interesting.
Okay, so...
At least for my coverage, although not me, I don't know as of recently with this whole thing that just blew up. I'm pretty sure we're watching a ton of Asmongold stuff. I don't know if Asmongold has ever used this defense, the "you're obsessed with me" defense. Is that a thing he's ever said? I'm trying to think if there's a uniquely, like a Hasan Piker or a lefty kind of defense. Like, you're so obsessed with me. You're so obsessed with me. Like Asmongold, again, largest political streamer on Twitch. I'm going to talk about him a lot, of course. And then same thing with Hasan, largest left-leaning political streamer. Of course, I'm going to talk about him. Like, of course. Without me, he would have never been involved in that Kanye stuff. Milo wouldn't have reached out to him.
He might, but you definitely played a role and you even bragged about it.
Okay, well, if the 7-second clip said so, then I guess I can't argue with that.
I mean, you just admit that you have a clip of saying that.
I probably said that I have platformed him before because I debated a ton of people. Yeah, that's what I do. Do you think that like you should never debate people who have substantial disagreements with you? Should you never?
Did you see Hasan covering food shops? He's actually a lore master. Yeah, that's another annoying thing too, is the amount of projection. Hasan knows so much of my lore, and then I end up not knowing anything about like any of the shit around him. And then I have to constantly ask chat or other people who are more obsessed than me. And then he's like, yeah, Destiny, Sex Pestiny. So did you guys see that on page 27 of the recent filing that blah, 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 blah? Or yeah, or like knowing details about food shops or the inner workings of like the Pisco drama and all this shit. I'm like, Jesus Christ, bro. I don't even know who the fuck is on your Fear and Loathing or whatever fucking podcast thing anymore. And somehow he knows all my lore, but also I'm obsessed anytime I talk about it. It's like, okay.
It is true. Debate does spike your cortisol.
Debate like a Nick Fuentes type?
Yeah, you can debate him, but you shouldn't brag afterwards that you made them famous.
I don't brag about making him famous.
There's literally a clip of you doing it, though.
Okay, well, if there's a clip of me doing it, then...
He's also beefing with the peanut guy, the burnt peanut guy. Yeah, because I think the burnt peanut guy made the dog collar joke, so obviously Hasan is triggered as fuck.
Godspeed. God bless. Do you have any other points you want to bring up?
Is this at like a university or in a public park or something?
Not really. I'm low-key bored.
Okay, well,
so
good luck in your...
But I do have something to say. I know it's contradictory to what I said earlier.
Okay.
But long live Hasao Dao, Pai Tung.
This is rough. This is... I hope Hasan doesn't watch this. Vaush would never... Vaush might, but probably less likely to. This is what simping for China on stream gets you? Yeah, I guess so. Oh, no Mogdai afraid? Held frame. I do it to embarrass you only. Please don't do this. Please don't do this. pisses myself. I've got one more thing shits myself. Is there like a somewhat productive clip? Another Hasan fan? Oh,
Think about like progress towards whatever world you want. What candidates would you even support today that are already in office besides Mamdani? Would
Besides
you even support
Mamdani?
holy, wait, he came back?
Anymore?
Oscar Cortez is a really good one. Bernie Sanders, even though he's kind of become more liberalized. I mean, democratic socialism is something that Americans want right now.
Then where are the politicians winning elections that are Dem stocks? Why don't they exist anywhere?
Ilho Omar, democratic socialist, Oscar Cortez.
So we have the Justice Dems, those four
the city that
10
has the
years
greatest
old,
GDP production in the United States, New York, got a democratic socialist mayor.
So New York
won.
City, a very blue place, I'm aware of that. But outside of like these plus 30, plus 40 like blue places, where are all of these Dem stocks? Why don't they win elections in like competitive areas, in purple areas? Why don't they win elections in red areas? Why is it the only elections they can ever seem to win? The very, very few they have, the 5 that you pointed out, before Justice Dems and Mamdani, are in like super blue areas. That makes
I think the productive way to engage here is to identify the stuff that people like about Mamdani isn't that he's a socialist. It's that he's friendly, engaged, charismatic, and really enthusiastic about the process of using government to do good stuff. Like, most people like...
What you just described as an abundance liberal, though, no? Using the government to do stuff, not necessarily a socialist. Isn't that like abundance liberalism?
Mamdani, it seems, at least within New York City, you know, for this reason. I don't think everyone who voted for Mamdani like wants democratic socialism. What I think they want is authenticity, productivity. They want to...
I saw from Sam Sanders' response video that Dem stocks are about 30 to 40% of the Democratic voter base. Yeah, I saw clips of that, but I have to look at I need to watch him say it because I can't imagine that my audience's summarizing if that was correct. That apparently was it of Democrats that were polled that said 40% of Democrats were too liberal? And when Sam Cedar read that, now in the American political discourse, if you're too liberal, that means you're too far to the left. But when Sam Cedar was reading it, he's like, oh no, they're too liberal, like they're liberals. They want them to be more socialist. When they say too liberal, they mean they're too far right, is apparently how Sam was reading it, but it couldn't have been that stupid. Or that poll is more specific than I realized or something. I need to go look at that. Yeah.
Feel like they're contributing towards the betterment of their city, of their society, in a world that feels like it's in decline, which I think a lot of people do feel that way, right? So my thought here, I guess, is like, I'm not even looking for democratic socialists. What I'm looking for is people who are engaged in this way, and I see that more often for people who are like on the left, I guess, right? Like, obviously the most fervent supporters of Mamdani typically are democratic socialists or whatever, people on the left, but it's about those underlying tendencies. So if you can sort of hypothetically extract the positions that a person might like about Mamdani, do you think those attitudes, like a person who's enthusiastic, charismatic, engaged, really wants to get down there and work on those policies, make the city better, do you think that would do badly in like the rest of America? Probably not. No. I think the real reason why these candidates are so rare is because of the Democratic, sorry, I don't mean capital D Democratic like the Democrats. I mean the lowercase d Democratic machine, where we have a two-party system. And for the most part, as you entrench the interests of the people who are already in the local Democratic or Republican Party, you know, they're there for a while. They have their own ideas about how things should be run. And yes, there is a degree of like corporate collaboration, even at a local level. You know, you develop a relationship with local contractors, local businesses. There's a lot of like at the micro level, there's a lot of like, what is it called? Like a family favoritism, nepotism. And these systems get more entrenched. They get bogged down like every bureaucracy can if it doesn't get, you know, revitalized, re-energized by people like Mamdani or by like big populist waves. So I think that what we're looking for isn't like, we need a socialist wave across America. No, we need a can-do spirit across America, and not like a fake can-do spirit. You know, like every Democrat, every Republican, they get out there around election time and they're like, we want to really get down and fix these issues. No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't, dude. You obviously don't. You're going to get in office, then like chill and let your staffers write your bills for you, and you're just going to sit. You're going to do nothing the entire time. Maybe you'll hop on like a pet issue or something, but you are not going to like actually get anything meaningful done. And we need big change, right? Like big, meaningful. And I don't just mean socialism. I mean shit like the debt, like a wealth tax, which is not socialist. I mean like a revitalization.
Why do they always push for the most loser ideas that wouldn't even help that much? Wealth tax wouldn't even generate that much revenue. It's so easy. Repeal the Trump tax cuts. Boom. $400 billion a year. Boom. Repeal the Trump tax cuts. The Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, just repeal them. That's it. And you've made so much more money. Please stop with the loser, extravagant, eccentric taxation schemes that even fucking European countries don't like. Please stop with the weird shit. And also, please stop assuming that you can go from Trump to getting radical change on the left, bro. We're trying to come back from the brink of existence. And the idea that like, oh, we're ready for a socialist government now. Bruh, how about we survive as a country first?
Of our democratic process, parentheses, ending the Republican Party, with like stuff like that. So I think that Destiny is misframing the terms of the argument, but he kind of has to, because the guy he's talking to is framing it as though it's about socialism, which again, we're so far from that, you know?
It seems like the people don't generally want democratic socialism.
Well, yeah, you have a polarization. America's a heavily propagandized population. Red states politicians.
Okay, then you understand I can't win the argument, right? Because on one, you just said that most Americans want this, and then when I ask, well, why don't they win elections? You say, well, because most Americans don't want it because of propaganda. Well, what am I supposed to say then?
Well, nobody can.
That's not necessarily unfalsifiable. Like, you can engage with that. It's difficult to engage with in like a fast-paced debate, but there is a value. there is a point there. Obviously, like yes, the Overton window and the popularity of certain positions does influence what people think they want, and there can sometimes be a big disconnect. Like Florida, for instance, voting consistently more left on policy and referendums than they do in candidates. So it's like, maybe the cultural bias towards Republicans, which is a product of like very extensive advertisement and investment and like a reaffirmation of the strength that party has in the state. Maybe that's pulling people away from things that they would otherwise want. There is a degree of compulsion there.
Doesn't even know what democratic socialism is. But what is
democratic
happening?
socialists don't have a consistent definition for democratic socialism.
True.
You can't tell me you would allow capitalist parties to exist in your system.
Well,
Or
I'm not
that
a
people say the
democratic
Soviet Union wasn't
socialist.
socialist. Or
I'm not a democratic socialist, though.
What are you, a social socialist?
I think that you can't really have democracy and socialism at the same time because capital will overthrow the system again. And
well, but there wouldn't be capital. It would be socialism.
Become reactionary forces will.
Sure. So you want like a vanguard party, and you want to like have a violent overthrow of the whole capitalist class and everything.
Well, I wouldn't say for like legal reasons. I would want like a revolution or anything like that.
Nervously rocking back and forth on their feet. Wait, was the whole thing just this one person?
They kill millions overseas. Nestle company killed 8 million people.
Okay. How many people died in the Holodomor? How many people died in Mao's revolution? How many people?
Oh, it's like the conversations I had in 2019, man. Oh God. Oh my God.
Under capitalism, even though we have a resource.
Yeah, rip to my man Charlie Kirk. You would have loved to come across this guy during one of your campus tours.
Plus, in regards to food, 8 million people die every year due to food insecurity. We have constant wars for imperialism, constant wars for
How is socialism solving any of these? Do we have less wars with the Soviet Union or what?
Soviet Union wasn't starting wars and doing like proxy shit.
Really?
No,
Where do
not
you know where
comparison
tanking
to
comes
America.
from? The Hungarian Revolution.
You
We think all the
who overthrew Salvador Allende Chile? Who overthrew Nicaragua?
I'm not
Who
saying
invaded
capitalist
Panama?
countries are perfect. I'm not going to argue that. Of course, there's issues. I'm just saying I don't know why we
You're
assume
comparing
that
an aggressive power to more of a defensive power.
You think the Soviet Union was just defensive?
They weren't overthrowing every single country that had socialist
What do you think
values
the
left and
Soviet
right.
Union was? How do you think they got all those other countries in the Soviet Union? By overthrowing their governments or supporting people
Yeah,
overthrow
those
the
were
governments.
domestic revolutions in many cases.
Domestic.
Domestic support
that were
ordered to a
supported by the
revolution.
Soviets? You think Afghanistan? You think all these were just domestic revolutions? The Soviets just happened to.
This is just a hard fight. No, Destiny's correct here. Not because it's good to be anti-communist or anything. It's just like the arguments here are really bad. It's not like I think it's important to look at stuff like this sometimes. I think from my perspective to remind myself of like what the broader not Overton window, I guess. What are people? I need to be reminded of like the broader environment in which discourse takes place, not just the kind of discourse that I tend to have now. I think remind yourself to not go back to this. Yeah, I mean part of it is definitely that. Yeah.
You think the same in Ukraine
So you
right
think
now?
every single one of those people who overthrew those governments were were Soviet Union agitators then?
I think there's
You
a
don't
reason
they
why
had
when the
developed their own
Soviet Union
domestic
collapsed,
ideology?
the country.
Hasan promotes this thing, by the way. I think that Hasan would probably make his arguments better than this kid, but I think that to an extent, yeah, Hasan is not this bad. What I do think is the case is that a lot of popular online leftist discourse does either cater to or at least include like this kind of person, the kind of person who would play like ear rape Soviet anthem on a boombox while dressing as Cesar Chavez. Yeah, like for Halloween Day or whatever, with the communist hat. You know what I'm talking about. Drinking a fresh lemonade. And I think that those people are very obnoxious, obviously. They tend to be very young, and they're very vindictive online too. So the problem is, if Hasan ever goes on stream and he says, like, dog, can we be for real? The Holodomor was obviously the fault of the Soviets. They were callous and inattentive to the needs of their people, and part of it was punitive action against the demographic of people who had defied Soviet rule. Can we be so for real? The crushing of the Hungarian people. Can we be so for real with Afghanistan? Like, if he did that, even if he's done versions of that, whenever you do something like that, you agitate this group of people, and then they spend the rest of their life talking about how you're a fake communist and a counterinsurgent and a deep state op and a Fed. So I think that there's a little bit of trepidation. The problem is that when you tiptoe around these people, they multiply. So you have to be you have to be a little principled with it, I guess. It's what happened with me, right? Like everyone, if you mention me in communist circles online, everyone there calls me a lib or worse. So
How can I don't understand how he can give this take here, but I feel like his sub was melting down because he was basically saying that like he also would side with Hasan in the not voting for Newsom over JD Vance thing. I don't know what the fuck his argument is for that, but okay.
So it's
reason that left didn't want to go back. There's a reason for that.
Well, the Soviet Union didn't exist when also when you talk about like Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, even Ukraine, they all voted to stay in 1989 with the Soviet
Why would you
Union.
Why didn't they even go back after 91?
Because the Soviet Union dissolved under Gorbachev after he did
Why
a
didn't they
illegal
try to join
dissolution.
Russia? Why not try to join Russia?
Because Russia is a capitalist oligarchy.
Okay.
It's not.
That was their issue after, is that Russia became too liberal for them? They wanted back their Soviet
The
overlords?
economy collapsed under shock therapy, dude.
Sure.
Nobody's going to want to rejoin that. It did. GDP collapsed under Boris Yeltsin.
Yeah, I'm aware. I know you guys say Yeltsin. Okay.
This is fascinating. It really was. Like this guy was here for like 20 minutes, man. Holy.
Okay.